Gears Pop has taken over the Discord. New game club, new host, a very sequential segment, and your weekly GTASCTT update. This is Achievement Hunting 101. There's a great new game taking over the Discord. We have a new game club under new management, ranking them achievements sequentially, and Z Axis for GTASC. Whoa, I just got a feeling of deja vu. Oh well, this is Achievement Hunting 101. Hello and welcome to Achievement Hunting 101. I'm Fufu Cuddly Poof, and thank you for listening. This is level 57.
Deja vu.
Listen, Pete Alonso just hit his 42nd home run, broke the Mets record. I got distracted, and now, one of us might have forgotten to hit record on the first take, but it wasn't me.
So we've got a great show for you guys tonight. But before we get to all of that, let's talk about Gears Pop.
No,
I'm just kidding. We're not going to talk about that yet.
you just want to talk about that because you're a cheap bastard.
Yes, maybe.
And also, you spent all our Patreon money on those crystals and the in-game currency.
Oh, you weren't supposed to mention that on the show. What's wrong with you?
Pikachu shocked face.
Kenny, edit that out.
I do enjoy.
Okay, so let me introduce you who will be joining me on the podcast tonight. With me is L, Nate, and Corey. What is up, guys?
Uno.
Not my
wait a
phone
minute.
battery. You catch my drift.
Are you on WhatsApp all the time?
If by that
Tinder.
you mean Gears Pop, maybe.
Kick Messenger.
Kick, what a throwback. So, L, since you're the only one of us that has decided not to play the greatest upcoming game, greatest upcoming new game, how's your week been? What you been up to?
Well, I'm glad you asked again. I've been spending this week trying to clean up some of the games on my tag. Right after recording last week, I guess all I had to do was pitch and moan about it. I completed Castaway Paradise. I caught that gall-darn eel that I've been trying hard to catch.
You're so lucky.
What you have to do, in my estimation, is go around and keep fishing with the regular fish food, because the other fish foods, they give you all different kinds, but this one for sure gets it. I saw some forums.
I think they just want you to catch the same damn fish 1,000 times before it shows up.
But you're going to do that anyway. But by using the normal fish food as opposed to no fish food, you make sure to get less chance of getting a tire or a tin can or a boot.
Anti-maxing minning.
Yes, and I did see people who were bragging about catching all the fish without using any fish food.
Well, screw those guys.
Why would you
Those
brag about that?
But I don't think it was for Xbox. I think it was for their phones. So they basically, if you play that game on your phone every day, you have nothing else to do anyway. So
It's also
not that any one of us would play a phone game.
I can't get the same stupid eel. I think that's my last one that I need, and I can't get it. I've tried and tried, and I'm about to give up on the stupid game.
You should really just stick it out. Play it daily. Every day.
For how long?
I've heard that if you play for 5 minutes a day, you'll get it eventually.
That's
In
true.
a few weeks, they say.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
So anyway, I also completed Cluster Puck 99, ACA Neo Geo Gururin, Super Willow D-Make, but I like to say Daimake, because that's what it looks like to me. Actually, my son helped me out with this one, because I told him it was like Mario, and he was like, yeah, this is not good. But I asked him if it's good for achievements. He goes, yeah, I guess so. That was his mini review.
I guess so.
Yeah. We did some Super Tennis Blast, completed that one. Mochi Mochi Boy, I completed that one.
Moki Boy.
Also, without a guide, like most people. There was one stage at the end, like 26, I want to say, that held me up for a little bit, but then it was smooth sailing. And then, for the main event, I introduced my son to Iron Snout, Chuck Norris's favorite game. Ask me if you liked it, Corey.
Oh, yeah. Did he like it?
Do you think he did?
If he has any good sense, then yeah.
He didn't happen to find any hidden features on the game, did he?
Wow, you see into the future, Nate. Or the past.
I'm Australian
at
heart.
I thought you were Canadian.
Honorary.
So we did beat the game. We got the completion. He did it in one sitting. Took less than an hour.
The typical
one thing I didn't mention on the first take that may or may not have happened was that he went through the achievement list, and one of them is for humping the fool's leg. He's like,
Elroy's favorite.
He's like, what's that? I'm like, oh yeah, just turn around and let him jump on your back. That's what it means. And he's like, okay. And as Nate alluded to in our surprise thing, did you know that this game has multiplayer?
I have absolutely no idea.
I actually did know that.
How long have you known that, Nate?
Not very long.
That's
say
5
about
minutes.
6 minutes plus 7 minutes. So there's a mode to, it's kind of like volleyball, but it's a bigger ball than that, like a big beach ball falls in the middle, and you have to hit it back and forth, and it keeps score, kind of like Pong. And you use your moves to keep it in the air and hit it to the other side and make sure it doesn't fall on your side. And
how long did you play this multiplayer mode?
We did a best of 3 and then a best of 5, and then we were done.
So you played it longer than the rest of the game.
But it was fun.
So it just sounds all like the multiplayer achievements then.
We did.
Awesome.
No multiplayer achievements were not obtained.
It sounds like volleyball and attacking games.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Yeah. Way back in the day, I played that. Tekken 3 on PlayStation 1. Good time.
The other game that's been taking up most, if not all of my time, is Time Spinner. I am completely and thoroughly addicted to this game. But I believe we'll talk more. But no. Oh, I gotta turn off my video. No, I am very addicted to this game, but I think we will talk more about it a little later.
Is it a Vayner in your opinion?
It is the Vayner.
The Vayner.
Whoa.
It's a big statement there.
I can go on and on. Maybe we should do a review about it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. But I will say it's really good, and I don't have much bad to say about it.
Oh, that's good news.
It's a love letter to Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And Nate, did you play the original Metroid for the NES?
Yes, of course.
You laugh, but I don't know. You've got some dementia. You might not remember.
I seem to remember playing that.
There's certain parts, certain ways the game is designed where there's like a single beam in the middle of the screen, where it looks like the elevator screen for Metroid. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just a love letter to all these games. It's definitely a Vayner. Game design is one of the best parts about it. The map design.
Yeah, I mean, even had we'll talk about that later.
This is turning into a review right now.
Sorry.
We don't want to do that.
No. Yep.
But play it, enjoy it. Game Pass, PC Game Pass. You have to download it there first, and then you can play it on your console. That's the one negative about it.
So you have to download it first on PC, then your console can play it.
I believe so.
Okay.
Is that with all Game Pass PC games?
Only if they're Play Anywhere?
That one's Play Anywhere, but it's not offered on Game Pass.
I see what you're saying.
Oh, the original Game Pass. So you have to jerry-rig it.
Gotcha.
Apparently.
All right, Nate. Pretend to tell me what you're talking about for the first time. Oh, wait, it is the first time?
It is actually the first time. I'm old, and I know I tell the same stories multiple times, but I think this one's new. So last week, I did a pretty good job of cleaning up a lot of my RTDL, so I only have a few things left. So I haven't been playing that much to the RTDL. I did Age of Empires. I completed all of that.
Nice.
I have not popped in the next version just to get all the achievements just popping. Mostly because I think some people are behind on that and are intending to come through and do the multiplayer stuff, and I don't think that they're going to be able to play between the two versions. So I'm just hanging around and waiting for a special reason to pop all of those. So one of the last things I had to do for RTDL was Hellblade. And I had to get pretty far into the game. So I was chipping away at that over the course of 2 or 3 nights, and then just finished it out. Stayed up way too late. It was like 3:30 in the morning when I finally rolled credits and shut it down, went to bed. It's a good game. It's enjoyable. I really would like to be able to skip cutscenes, because I'm starting to play it now on the PC, and you have to go through all of it. And it's good, but, yeah, I'm impressed by what that studio was able to do. It's like you're playing the PS4 God of War, but slightly different, and the combat is nowhere near as good. The combat's like an Infinity Blade on the iPhone. It's that kind of combat, but
Just like God of War, but different.
It's so close to God of War, but they have a much smaller team than, Sony, obviously. And I'm excited for what happens when they do get a larger team, when they do get Microsoft resources, what they can build. That game is beautiful. And it just gives me a lot of hope for what they can do in the future. Played a lot of Gears Pop, which I think we'll get to later. Yeah.
I was going to quickly ask you how it ran on your computer.
On my PC? It started to run really well. I was running high. I wasn't running high. My PC was on high. And everything was looking pretty good. And then I turned the wrong corner. I saw too many polygons or something, and everything just started getting real choppy. So I bumped it down to medium. Mm-hmm. And then it got choppy again later, and I bumped it down to low.
Oh, no.
And low runs fine. I'm probably just going to keep it on low because I've already seen it be pretty, and my PC's not as good as my Xbox. So, but yeah, I was really worried that it wasn't going to be able to play on my PC, but I think I can probably get through it. Now, I haven't gotten to some of the more intense combat portions yet, so we'll see. Then spent a lot of time Gears Pop, but that hasn't really been taken away from my game time. That's been taken away from other life responsibilities.
Work.
And then just today, I was like, you know what? I just need a little shot of some rat. So I played Mechabolt, and that is true to form. It's a rat game. It's about 20 minute completion for the achievements. But you know what, guys?
What's that?
What?
I did it. I finally did it.
Oh boy.
What'd you do?
I played errata to credits.
What?
Yeah.
On purpose?
Yeah, on purpose. I actually enjoyed this game. It's not super challenging, and there wasn't that much more to do. I think there's 4 zones. You have to get through 3 zones to get all of the batteries that you need for the final achievement. And I was like, you know what? There's only 2 more zones. That's 24, it's 48 levels the most. And they all take a minute, or less than a minute. So why not? I'll just do it. So I went ahead and I did it, and I completed the game, and it was fine.
Wow.
Yeah. It got slightly more involved, but not that much. But it was fun.
How did it run on your Xbox?
It ran just fine.
Oh, good.
I had no problems with that. That was my week. Corey, why don't you tell us about the free-to-play game Gears Pop?
So yeah, there's this game called Gears Pop, and it's really fun, and everybody should play it. Luckily, it came out in a really good time for me. RTDL was finished. I wasn't
perfect.
feeling great last week, so I actually didn't play several days. But having a game on my phone that just is achievements aplenty in the beginning.
It really is.
It really helped me with some TA. Hurting a little bit this week from it, but nothing too bad that I can't recover from, hopefully. But yeah, we can get into it more later. I am really enjoying it, though. It's the best Microsoft phone game that I've played. Yeah, we can get into it more later, but it's really good, and I recommend it. So really, that just leaves the little bit of playtime I had last week was either Mutant League Football again or this game I played last night, which was Toe Jam and Earl. And I'm sure El's a little salty that he missed out because the original crew of Prue, Matriarch, and myself got together with What the Fug, and we knocked out some Toe Jam and Earl. Michelle had to beat hard mode, so she recruited veteran Toe Jam player Prue, who has beat the game many times. And you can get up to 4 people, so Fug and I jumped in, and we all tackled this hard mode. And if you're not familiar with the game, it's classified as a roguelite action-adventure game. And basically, you're traversing these levels of the world, and you're looking for parts of your ship. You need 10 parts. The 10th part is always on the 25th level. There's fixed worlds and random worlds. And there's a lot of earthlings and presence around that can either help you or hurt you. And it can get really difficult if you're not careful. And so we played, and we got, I don't know, probably, I want to say 14. Around level 14, we died the first time. And Prue was saying it's probably about a 2-hour run because you want to play a little conservatively if you actually want to try to beat it. And so we decided to give it one more go, and we found kind of a cheese to the game, a little bit. It turns out, which we knew this, but when you die in a multiplayer online game, you turn into a ghost, and you can scare... Exactly, except you go... Boo, 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 boo.
That's Yoki there.
Exactly. How do you know that?
I guess you're right. Anyways, you can scare certain enemies, and apparently you can kill certain enemies around you and your team to kind of help them a little bit. And so what do you know? Everybody dies but Prue, the veteran. And so we sit there and we kind of figure this out. And we're scaring everything as he basically is carrying all 3 of us through the game. And it was going really well. So, like I said, she only had to beat hard mode. So we were at the 23rd level. Prue had some really good presence in order to beat the levels quicker and have less risk. And we hit level 24. We got to the elevator because you traverse these worlds through elevators because you're going up and you can fall through the previous level and whatnot. He gets in the elevator and he was telling us about he couldn't find it at first because party chat was covering up the map. And then Prue has left party chat. And then the flashing word disconnected goes across our screen. Oh my gosh. It was a very tense situation, and we didn't know what were going on. And so we kind of held back for a second. And here comes Mr. Prue. Hey guys, just join my game. And the game never loaded. And then finally something popped up and it said, Prue, level 1. We were, I think our hearts were sinking a little bit. Anyways, we shut down the game. We quit it out, and he goes back in, he loads it up, and he says, I think we're good. It's level 23. But then there's that thought in your head, is this going to unlock for me? Because now we're starting at level 23 and not level 1. In the end, it worked. I will say that. For as bad as the networking is in this game, this worked. We all got the achievement, and I think it benefited us in a different way because we also got the achievement for beating normal or hard without popping a single Earthling, which we definitely did. And we also got beat normal or hard without opening a single present, which is almost impossible in and of itself because a lot of them help you a lot. So I think by doing that, it got us 2 fairly hard achievements, and it gave us some good TA. So yeah, it was good in the Gears Pop decay.
So that was the disconnect that you think got you those 2?
I think so. Unless Fug didn't open a present or pop an Earthling and it counted just for him, because you know how this game is. If one person does it, everybody unlocks it. And he pretty much made up for you, L. So,
oh no!
It was funny because at one point,
map the whole time, the first floor.
Nah, he made it like 3 levels.
Oh,
maybe 6. When you're a ghost, you can actually request a life from somebody and to bring them back to life. And he was just popping buttons. We're telling him to quit hitting A, because A is how you request. And then because Prue's doing his thing, and Prue accidentally gave him a life, and he was like dead in like 4 minutes after that. But man, it was a roller coaster near the end of that. Oh, I didn't even mention the best part. I was telling you how Prue said the map was covered up by party chat, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but his Kinect heard Xbox turn off, and that's what happened. That's what happened. So,
oh my gosh,
he awesome. Says he was going to throw it across the wall. I don't know if he meant like into an open oven or not, but luckily everything worked out for the good. I don't know why he has the Kinect plugged up. I mean,
it's not the real Cortana, Prue. I know you like hearing her voice.
Yeah.
Are you done with your story? I was going to give it.
I'm done. We got our achievement.
Oh, I wanted to give a Toe Jam Gway shout out to community member Odorless Furball, who just completed Toe Jam and Earl yesterday.
Whoa.
So he's the first community member to complete it. He's the 12th overall out of 1,248 people.
Yeah, we were talking with Prue last night. Because he thinks that there's like really like one hard achievement, and that's the Funkatron, which we've tried many times.
Oh God, yes.
And it's extremely difficult. So that's pretty cool that he completed that. Nice.
And then he commented on his feed that he would keep playing it even though he's done with it. So
really, I don't like it that much. It's pretty fun.
I'll be hitting him up for help.
Yeah. Community play day with Odorless Furball.
Hadouken. Oh, yeah. No, not Fireball. Furball.
But, Kenny, Loggins, have you played anything this week?
That's the opposite of Kenny Loggins. Kenny logs out. Come on. I'm setting you up for this bad jokes.
Sure.
The thing is, I knew it was bad. Just didn't know the answer.
Oh.
Come on, Kenny. Danger Zone.
What?
What have you been playing?
Well, I only have one game that's worth mentioning, and is very much worth mentioning, and that is Gears Pop.
We should all talk about Gears Pop now.
This game is fantastic. Yes, we can get into this now. This works perfectly.
Gears Pop Gateway.
Gears Pop Quiz.
Nice.
Any others?
All right. Help us name the episode. It's going to be something like that.
The episode will be out by the time they hear that. It's a
damn it. All right, I'm leaning towards Snap, Crackle, and Gears Pop. So if anything could beat that, let me know.
Okay.
No,
so, yeah.
No reaction. Not a fan. It's from Rice Krispies before you were born.
They're gross. They're only good if they're the treat.
They are really gross.
It's a horrible cereal. That is a terrible cereal.
It's like the perfect light cereal for like 11 o'clock at night.
No, if you're going to eat that, like you want something light, Honey Nut Cheerios.
That's not light, my friend.
Not light.
Apparently to what I eat, that's light.
Mm-hmm.
You go from all the sugary cereals to that? No.
So you're just
Rice
eating rocks for
Krispies
breakfast.
is like
you can
worst.
add sugar to Rice Krispies.
Why do I want to add sugar? I'd rather just buy the cereal that already has that done.
They're good by themselves, but you can add sugar.
The only way they're good is when they're in a treat.
The Rice Krispie treats. No, they have Rice Krispie treat cereal.
They do, and that's delicious.
It is delicious.
The actual Rice Krispie treats with like the marshmallow and whatnot, they're delicious.
When you grow up, you'll realize that you don't need all that sugar in your cereal.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm sure future Kenny will still think they're horrible, and also I'm never going to grow up, so don't hold your breath.
I feel like you're like a peanut butter and jelly guy who prefers like 70% jelly to 30% peanut butter. Because that's 7-year-old me.
No,
30-year-old
I'm like
me
50,
prefers
50.
like 80% peanut butter.
I'm like 50-50. I really like peanut butter. I eat peanut butter with a spoon. How did we get onto this?
Note to self, don't eat the peanut butter at Kenny's house.
I have my own separate jar.
Okay.
Its own spoon.
And obviously it's creamy because crunchy is disgusting.
Okay. We don't have time to get into that.
Here. So much to unpack here. Let's go back to Gears Pop, though.
Oh, there's a lot to unpack there, too.
Yes.
In the loot boxes. Get it?
Speaking of packs.
So if for some reason you're like L and you haven't decided to play this game, it is very much like Clash Royale. If you've played Clash Royale on your phone, it's just that, but a little bit different. Instead of, well, let me say this. In Clash Royale, when you destroy an outpost, you can then move up and deploy your troops a little bit farther. In this, because it is Gears of War, you have covers that you can take, and as you take cover, you can place your troops farther up the map. Yeah, that's the only real difference. That you have superpowers. You have like an ultimate. Other than that, it's Clash Royale. If you like Clash Royale, play this. This is actually better because it's Gears of War. It's not as pay-to-winny as Clash Royale is yet. Give it a few. It will be very much become pay-to-win. And it's Funko Pops, and Funko Pops are awesome.
I feel like a lot of people are saying it's play-to-win.
Oh, for sure.
It's definitely play-to-win now, but considering it just started and there's not a ton of pins, it's not egregious yet. Let's put it that way. It will become horrible pay-to-win once they start adding in a couple more guys to make these. They start making all the good ones epics, and they don't add in anything rare or common. So you have to pay in order to get the boxes, in order to get the things that actually let you win. And also the nice part about the game right now is because it's new, everybody's a noob. No one has really figured out the strategies.
I would disagree there.
Actually, let me think. There's strategies that work, but for the most people, but there's not like that one meta strategy that's like the be all end all.
It's opening that wallet.
Well, some of us aren't going to do that.
Yeah, so who here has
Like
paid
Chip.
money?
I have not.
If you feel like owning up to it. Verbally.
Oh, verbally.
Corey, this is a podcast, an audio podcast. You're gonna have to say something.
Well, I mean, I was raising my hand. Yes,
The audience can't see that.
I've put a little bit into this game.
What's a little bit?
More than $1.
I'm gonna guess 30.
That's a good guess. You're wrong, but it's a good guess.
30 with the 0 at the end?
Well, we don't need to shame you
I'm going
for
40.
being a dirty wallet.
No
warrior.
shame.
I mean, it's exactly what you said. $30.
Oh,
10.
idiot.
Plus 10. But yeah,
Whatever
the game got me.
No, but what is
good.
the benefit of doing that?
To get a lot of pins and a lot of crystals to.
Have you played Clash
upgrade.
Royale? L?
I played it when it. Oh, L, yeah.
I haven't, no.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
I'm still finding my way through this. It took me a good 4 or 5 games to figure out that there's that number going up on the bottom for when I could use. I was just using whatever popped up and throwing them on the screen. Yeah. It took me a few games for that. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so first of all, Al, you may be interested if you swipe to the left, there's boot camp, and you can play some boot camp. They will take you through a couple battles and kind of help you learn some of the basics.
I don't even think they teach you that because that's so self-explanatory.
It was when I looked at it. Yes.
Hold up. What did you think the little number meant next to the
I didn't
pin?
even. The power. I don't know. Toughness. Oh, wait. That's magic. I honestly didn't know.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know, but I figured it out. And then people were talking about strategies, not put something down right away, just wait until all 10. I saw all kinds of people saying all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So
well, yeah, because there can't be one. I mean, there can be one best strategy, but it's going to be hard to mimic across all the whole player base because it's RNG. I mean, not everybody has the same pins.
Not everyone has the same
pins. I put $40 into it, and I don't have every pin.
I can't believe you still don't have Kate.
I can't believe you paid $40.
Well, I mean, okay, so there's nothing wrong with paying money for a game that you're getting enjoyment out of.
Oh, no.
There's nothing wrong with paying money for a game. Like, if you're getting fun out of it. So I don't mean to harp. I mean, I'm not going to pay for this.
I've put money into free-to-play games also, so...
my background is I have put a little bit of money. Like, I don't even think I put in $40 into Clash of Clans back in the day. And
if we're going to go on Clash
Royale
of Clans.
came out, I played it, but I didn't put any money into it. And that feeling would have went away if there was no achievements tied to it, for sure.
Well, yeah, there's that.
But
so what are you trying to tell us, Nate?
You get a nice little serotonin boost when you open those big old legendary packs.
You really do. It's about, and then you see like the epics and the legendaries popping out. Yeah.
But then comes the
yes,
the dismay when you're like, well, I don't want 1,000 frag grenades or 1,000 butchers.
See, where I thought you were going with that is the you get so used to going 100 miles an hour that when you hit that speed bump and now you're back down to the children at play speed, it's just super painful to play the game at that pace.
Welcome to the addictive pay-to-win model.
There can be, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I don't even let myself... For these types of games, I have a hard time using the in-game currency. So, obviously
I'm not the only one.
Obviously, I'm spending coins. Yeah, that's not a problem. But the gems, like, I don't really spend the crystals or the gems, whatever you want to call them, just because you get used to that speed. And once you get used to moving at that speed, like, everything just comes to a crawl when you don't have that money or that currency. So that's why I don't even do it unless I absolutely have to. Like time wise. So like I've got to go somewhere, I've got to do something. I only have enough time for one more match and I want to pop a crate into an empty spot. So yeah, boom, I'll open that crate now for 4 crystals or whatever. And then I'll play a match, win, and then take off.
See, the funny thing is I'm more against that than I am just go ahead and give me a big old crate.
Right.
But I do think it can be a hindrance, and that's probably the psychology behind these kind of games and how they're set up. I'm nowhere near as good of a player as Jimbot, who I know hasn't put any money into it, but we're around the same league. And so I'm not as good as him yet. I'm using these purchases to like supplement that a little bit.
Did you see Jimbot's review on TA of this game?
I have not.
No. Can you remind me?
Can I remind you?
Of something that you have not read.
I know what I said.
He gave it a 0.5 out of 5.
What?
And a good time.
He's going to hate this show.
He's a chief in our crew.
Really? Why
he said the core gameplay is fun, and he'd give that about a 3.5 out of 5, but it's the grimiest free-to-play implementation he's ever played.
Well, so here's the thing. It is grindy, but they didn't sell us anything different in my mind. And if you've never played these games before, sure, I can see why you would think that. But this is exactly like those other games.
So
yeah, I agree.
Anyone that's complaining about this being grindy, that actually
grimy. Like
grimy.
It's grimy.
Slimy,
like
sleazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
dirtbag move.
Have you ever played a mobile game
Douchebag.
ever since Clash of Clans has come out and struck it big? Every mobile game since that point has been, give me money, and keep giving me money. Either because there's way too many ads and it makes the game impossible to play, or it has a ridiculous grind and then it has that addictive feature to it, so you want to keep putting money into it. Mobile games, all of them, are a money sink, or a money and a time sink.
Mm-hmm.
Because They're free.
So you're not surprised by any of the tactics that they use, right?
Absolutely not.
He also complained about the only being able to play Horde with your crew.
Now this game is a week old. The crew, the whole thing,
and that the crew size is low.
Use some improvements.
I was just gonna say they're gonna listen to feedback and definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some quality of life things that will come out as the game gets older.
I kind of like a wish list. Like in Clash of Clans, you could actually battle other clans. I kind of want crews to be able to battle. Maybe you could do 2 versus 2 crews, just like Horde.
That's cool.
So so I know where Kenny's going with this, and that is something that Clash Royale has. Clash Royale has team battles. No, I don't play it because that thing is I'm not going to say that because I have rage quit that game just because of the play model there. Like, okay, so I understand where Jimbot's coming from, right? I've played Clash of Clans, I've played Clash Royale, I've played whatever on the phone that gets you to spend the money. And I have rage quit off of Clash of Clans and Clash Royale because it's so frustrating, which is kind of informed like how I'm going into this game. Like I'm going into this game knowing that, okay, number 1, I'm not going to spend money. Number 2, I'm going to get steamrolled every now and then. Number 2 again, I am going to steamroll a wallet warrior that doesn't know how to use what he's bought. And that's going to make me feel so good. But what I need to do is not get discouraged and not, get super upset and uninstall and whatever. Instead, just, okay, stop playing. Go do something else. Come back to it later. And that's kind of the way to approach it when you start getting frustrated, because it is very frustrating. And if you get into a losing streak, and it's going to happen, just stop. Like, okay, maybe you want to keep going through it. Fine. My recommendation to you is to just stop and go do something else, come back to it. Because it will change. I mean, you're in the pool with people at a certain time of day. Well, play a different time of day. There's all sorts of ways to get enjoyment and not get so frustrated with the way these things are working out. Another is to D-rank, and we can talk about that if you'd like.
Okay, let's talk about it. Why would you do such a thing?
So, real quick, that's one thing that Chip brought up. Because the matchmaking isn't always fair. Well, there's only 2 actual ways to match someone up with, either by level or by cogs. Cogs is like trophies in Clash Royale. There's pros and cons of both of them. If you get matched up with level, well, you may be hold on, I'm just. If you get matched up with level, you may be in a lower arena while the person that's in the same level as you has been into this higher level. So now, he has access to better pins and he can just steamroll you with the better units. And if you get matched up by cogs, the big disadvantage of that is a lot of people like to D-rank, and which is pretty much what I just said with the levels is, they're up really high. They've played the game a whole lot, and now they're where they should be is let's say 1,500 cogs. Now they're back with 200. So where it looks like they should be a noob, but they're not. And so what you just asked, El, the benefit of that is collecting some of the older pins and the lower level pins. Like if one of the achievements is to fully upgrade a pin, well, if you go down into the lower ranks, you have less pins that you can get out of a box, so you have a better chance of repeatedly collecting the same one. Or there's also another achievement to get a 5-win streak. You're down low, it's a much easier to get that than when you're up high.
Well, not only for the win streak, but if you get 5 wins, you get the best kind of chest you can get. And so the lower you are hunting on the week, the more of the best chest you get, which you can get 4 of those a day if you're really maximizing your time.
Yeah.
That may be better than 2-3 small chests from a higher arena.
And so the way this works, and it is similar to Clash Royale, is that let's say you get up to, I'll just use my numbers. You get up to Arena 5.
Ooh,
when you
look
win
at me,
in
I'm
Arena
in 5.
When you win in Arena 5 or whatever, the chests that you get are of that level. If you get knocked down to Arena 4, and let's say you get knocked down really low in 4, where your next win is still keeping you in Arena 4. It hasn't gotten you all the way back up to Arena 5. The chest you get is Arena 5. So while you won in Arena 4 in the middle of Arena 4, that win earns you an Arena 5 chest. So what you can do is get that Arena 5, get D-ranked down to the bottom of 4 or whatever, and work your way back up. Get that 5-win streak, which gives you horde tokens. Anything over a win streak of 2 guarantees you, I think it said guarantees you a horde token. So this is how you're collecting your horde tokens. Which, those are going towards the achievement. They're going towards the really grindy stuff. But it also, getting a win streak of 5 is going to give you the most. It's going to give you the most coins. It's going to give you the most number of pins. And another point is that, okay, so I win at arena level 5. I'm still getting 4, 3, 2, and 1 pins. Like, I'm not just getting 5. But if I want to focus on those lower units, I can drop down. But I think this is true, since I'm still getting those Arena 5 chests, like, I'm still getting a shot at higher level pins while I'm still in Arena 4. So as long as you get to that Arena 5, it's kind of preserving that you are getting Arena 5 chests. Now, I've seen this, but if someone knows that I'm wrong, or it's only for like an hour or a day or whatever, please let us know. But that's why I see the benefit to D-ranking. And also, it's less frustrating. You go in there, you get knocked down, and then unless you're going against other D-rankers who are like way higher than you.
So is that a common practice in these type of games?
Yes.
Okay, so I am Arena 5. I'm 1579 cogs. I went up against somebody, and I have like 1317 health. I'm going up against people with like 1500 health and, clearly hundreds more health than me, which means that they're a higher level, which means they've been playing longer because they've got more coins to unlock pins, which then increases their XP so that they can level up. So I'm going against people that are like definitely D-ranking, like at least an arena level more. So people are definitely doing this.
Now, is that poor game design, or is that just
you can't get around it, honestly?
Part of the...
I think it's one of the problems with this type of game. Like, how do you prevent people from doing that? Like, how do you make it so that it's more beneficial for them to struggle? Like, one of the problems now with when you're trying to get your chests is that you have to get wins. So I have a limited amount of time that I feel like giving to the game. So when I get up and then, let's say, so in the morning I get up, I open all 4 chests. So now I've got 4 slots open. So now I need to go win some matches. That could take half an hour. That could take an hour to get 4 wins if you're going up against, your level people. Because, you're winning 2, you're losing, or you're winning 1, you're losing 4. Okay. Now I got another one. So now I've just played 7 matches to get 2 wins. And I'm only halfway done. Okay. That's really, that's annoying. And it's a big waste of time. So,
and you have to win in order to advance. Mm-hmm. If you're not winning, the game's going to be stagnant and you're not going to go nowhere.
Yeah. So in order to progress, you need to get chests because you cannot level up. You cannot gain XP. You cannot get more health unless you are winning. And the easiest way to do that is to D-rank and do that. So they need to come up with some sort of solution that says, okay, even though you're losing, and you're losing badly, we're going to give you some sort of progression that makes it worth you to stay going against people of your actual level instead of going down and making someone else's life miserable.
I was reading, I don't know if there's an official statement on it, but it seems that at least in Arena 2, when you're a lobby, if you lose twice, they will put you against an easy bot. I've seen multiple accounts of that. Yep.
I have not read that. That's interesting.
I mean, you don't want to discourage people out of the gate. You want them to, bite that carrot a little bit. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
I think they even do it a little bit in the higher arenas, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think it's actually the opposite. I think I got 2 really easy matches, but then I got a stupid hard match against a new recruit. It just seemed a little weird.
I definitely noticed that at the lower levels. So I was definitely seeing that. I have not noticed it so much a little bit higher up.
Yeah.
What about the achievements? How do we feel about the spread that they've got here?
Well, real quick, what you were saying, one of the things that can kind of help entice you to stay up in the higher ones, and this is one of the quality of life things that I'm sure will come out eventually, but it's one of the things that Clash Royale does, is you have a free daily chest. Each day you can open up one free chest, and the higher arena you are, the better things you get out of it. But you have to be in that arena in order to get the good stuff out of it.
Well, you already have the dailies, right?
Yes, well, you have dailies. Clash Royale has dailies, but like I can open it. Well, I've already opened up today, but like you can open it up and just open up one chest for free.
I got you.
Huh?
See, and that's like Clash
later.
Royale. Like I don't actually play it each day, but I still have it on my phone, and like I once a day open it up, get my free stuff, and then log out. And the other thing that like Clash Royale does, that I would imagine comes to this as well, because since this is a copycat game, is a benefit of being in a clan. Now, in Clash Royale, you can request and donate cards. So I would imagine that's eventually going to come to play in this, where you can request and donate pins each a couple times a day. Now, the benefit of being in a higher arena is you're able to donate more, and you're also able to request more at a time. So, for instance, when you're real low in Clash Royale, when you request a common card, you can only get 5 of those. Once you rank up a bit, you can get like up to 50 at a time, I think, or it might be 60. I forget. So it's like
the donator benefit.
And I was just about to get to that. The donator benefits, as in they get gold or coins in Pop, and they also get experience. So it's the kind of thing where when you see that you're able to donate, if you don't actually need that card, you just get rid of them, because you get really good rewards. And also, being in a higher arena, you're able to donate more. So that's one of those things that like Clash Royale does really well, and kind of helping people to stay where they should be, instead of trying to D-rank.
Yeah, okay, let's hit the achievement list really quick like Kush asked.
Yep.
I'll just go ahead, and I think the list is pretty balanced. It's going to take you a very, very, very long time. It has a seriously achievement. Again, they did not sell me on a game that's going to be quick, and throwing gears in the title
just
makes it even longer. So
I think there's going to be a seriously pop.
I think the completion is going to be the only thing I don't like about it is that you have to reach the highest league. Is there? I don't know Gears as well as you guys. In the seriously achievements, do you actually have to be good, or do you just have to play a lot?
You know the answer to that.
You just have to play a lot.
Right.
This one requires you to be pretty good, as well as playing a lot. The playing a lot actually doesn't even scare me. It doesn't even look that bad.
Not really.
I mean, if you're not boosting, you need it to be good for 10,000 kills in the first game.
Sure, but I mean, you could play 10,000 matches and get one kill a match.
Some of them involve beating the insane campaigns, but I know what you're saying. This seems more skill.
Yeah,
dependent.
I mean, right now, again, week-old game. It's going to be tough to get to that highest league.
So just to clarify, the seriously pop achievement, it's to defeat 100,000 pins, win 1,000 verse battles, reach the highest league, and cleared 1,000 horde waves.
Now, what bugs me about this is that they've got a status bar at the end that shows you kind of your percentage that you're accomplishing this, but that is a composite achievement. So, I don't know how many pin wins or how many pins I've destroyed. I figured that one's pretty easy. That one's going to add up much faster than the 1,000 versus battles. Now, they're lower level achievements that will kind of give you an idea of when you've hit 500. But after 500, you're just kind of like guessing, okay, well, when have I gotten that 1,000? And then the 1,000 horde waves, is there? I think that might be in the stats. There's a stat screen that shows you how many times you killed Ram. So that might be what informs you how close you are to that.
It gives you an idea at least.
Yeah, that's one of the things I would like is a better breakdown of those stats. because that one is going to be a long way out. But if you're going to be playing the game going for that seriously, you're going to be getting a lot of pins. You're going to be getting a lot of gold. You're going to be ranking up those pins to the point that maybe you have a better chance of getting the highest arena league. If you're going to stick around to that one, maybe you have a shot at getting higher.
And when it comes to the highest league, hang on, let me let this load so I'm saying this correctly. So there's a couple of different arenas. Like Nate said, he's in Arena 5. Well, once you get to 1,600 cogs, you then go into the Bronze League. 2,000 gets you into the Silver. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. 1,600 gets you into Bronze, 2,000 into Silver, and 2,400 into Gold. The thing is, every month the leagues start over, and you're going to get reset. So if you're trying to get into the Gold League, you're going to need to play a ton in one month to be able to get it. It's not like it's the kind of thing where trying to get to Arena 5, I'm in 3 now. Well, I can wait a year, come back, and I'm still being 3, and I can continue to get to 5. It's not going to be like that trying to get the gold. So that makes the Seriously Pop achievement just that much harder, because there is a kind of a time restraint on it.
All right, maybe we should wrap up the Gears talk. Let's end with...
I got questions.
Okay, he has a question.
Do you guys have designs on getting to completion? Because I think I'm just I'm happy with it just being something that I could play on the go that can get something done.
I think I could get a good 90 to 95% of the achievements.
Gentlemen's 95%.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if you're not going to be going hard on this game, then yeah, and you're just going to use it to pop an achievement while you're out, yeah, it's great for that. Because the low-level stuff is, you can grind towards that pretty easily and not be too aggressive. But then, of course, they do have like the top-heavy stuff is definitely very grindy. One of the things that we should probably mention, if you're just starting this and you really don't know what's going on, there's like 3 achievements, I think, that make a lot of sense to go for while you're in the lower tiers. And those are to, what were they? Win a versus battle where you capture all the available cover positions. Although I think you can get that during Horde mode, which we did not touch on.
Yes, you can. That's how I just got it.
The 5 wins.
Yeah, then there's the 5-win streak, which you'll obviously want to do that when you're going against the computer, or people that don't know what they're doing. And I thought there was a third one.
There's another one for beating or winning, but I think you get it for losing. But you have to have a team of all commons.
Yeah, you get that for losing as well.
Now, again, RNG, you may not. It's be a while before you have a team full of commons, but
I had to do it with like 3 different types of grenades. I had like regular grenades, stun grenades, ink grenades, and then some useless units. But yeah, I was able to pull that off as well. So yeah, there are like 3 that you'd want to do pretty early on. And
also the one for the common pins, the achievement says to win a verse battle with a squad consisting of uncommon rarity pins. I lost. Like, I got my butt handed to me, and that popped. So that may be glitched. Or it may be glitched, and they might patch it, or maybe they wrote it wrong. Either way, if you can, get it now. Well, another glitch achievement to your benefit is the Hammer of Dawn achievement. So hitting or killing Ram with the Hammer of Dawn in Horde will apparently pop the achievement for both players. So
or not.
Person that has it and the person that doesn't have it. Well, when we were doing it, there were a lot of things down there at the end that might have gotten the killing blow. So they might have gotten it before the Hammer of Dawn ticked off the final hit.
I don't even have the Hammer of Dawn yet.
We can try again. Well, if you throw a horde my way, we can try.
All right, I'll send one now.
So very briefly, the Horde mode. That's what is unique to this game, and that is that there are currently 2 scenarios that you can play. One is called Coin Fortune. Thank you. Coin Fortune, which is the easier of the 2, and it's a 2-wave battle where you're just marching down and trying to take out Ram at the end. So there's not 3 fortification, there's only 1 at the very end. And then the other Horde scenario is a 3-wave battle where it gets increasingly difficult and Ram will be dropping krill clouds or krill something or whatever, and you need to burn those down, kill those in order to break through his invulnerability and then be able to do damage to him. If you don't destroy a krill wave, he will launch an attack in that lane. And if it's the center lane, it'll damage your building. You can take maybe 2 hits and then you're done. If it's on either side, it'll basically wipe out any units that are on those sides hiding behind cover. And you'll just have to continue marching down the field. So there are strategies for that. We've pinned the strategy, and once that was made public, those became, something that we could just basically complete every time. Before that, I think I lost like 4 horde just because it just didn't really get the strategy. And hopefully they're going to add higher difficulties and different scenarios. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with that in the coming months.
Yeah. If you do need help with hordes or other strategies or whatever, be sure to join the Discord, as in we have an entire channel that used to be Gears of War, but now it's Gears of Pop, and who cares about the Gears of War series when we have Gears Pop?
Basically, every channel has migrated to Gears Pop. Like, that's where all the,
the
all the
entire
talk
Discord is really quiet.
Yeah.
I want to add in relation to that. We have a full crew right now, but that doesn't mean that some people joined and aren't really playing, so they can take the bench for the time being. But I want to highlight Dunkos and High Road. They have put out a few giveaways for the community. Everybody's coming together, and you just want to help each other out, and is excited for the game and the community. So I think we got one running now that's about to end, but we're giving away like 3 or 4 $10 Google Play gift cards so far. And that's all of them. That's not us. So, we really enjoying seeing the community, come together for this.
Yeah, that is cool. Thank you guys.
It's kind of funny. We all laughed at this game at E3, and now it has completely and totally taken over our Discord and everything, or gaming.
So is Gears Tactics going to be like awesome as well? Is it going to capture everybody?
Oh no,
I forgot about that.
And how long is Gear Pop going to be shiny?
Hopefully for a while.
As long as I'm popping achievements.
Like I said, this is, in my opinion, the best Microsoft mobile game. Solitaire's great.
This is way better than Solitaire.
Mortiment's great. But, they tried to compete with Clash of Clans. They did not do a good job there. Now they're competing with Clash Royale, and I think that they have a serious competitor to that.
It's agree
polished.
With that.
It's so far it's fun, and
now you say it's polished, but you had those graphical glitches.
Okay,
they were pretty good.
It's polished as it looks pretty, but it still functions like a turd sometimes.
It's a year. It's a week old, so there are glitches. I'm sure we'll be getting an update here real soon, fixing a lot of that crap.
You had another question, Al?
Yeah, before we wrap up. Oh, I also wanted to say, I love the crew idea. You could just throw out a horde request, and
I do too.
I enjoyed seeing who would respond to it. So Kronos was my first. We Gears popped my cherry in horde. And then
there's
terrible.
No way.
And then
we're going to get through this without you saying that. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then we lost terribly. And then I did one with Kush, and we won. And then he told me that we did the easier mode with the hammer or something.
No, I said that we did the coin fortune, so it was the easier of the two. Yep.
I just love all that stuff. So my question was, there were 2 comments made recently by 2 of you guys, and I'll throw you under the bus.
Oh boy.
Foof.
Yes.
Recently disclosed that he has not gone through any of the Gears campaigns.
Oh, yeah.
So I was wondering if this would encourage him to do so.
Absolutely.
And Nate had said
now I'm really
that he wasn't excited for Gears 5, but this has made him more excited for Gears 5.
I really wasn't excited at all for Gears 5?
No, well, more excited.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm definitely more excited, and I'm definitely. I had forgotten like how good Gears is, like how solid it is, how it's made its own kind of thing, like the roadie run, and just the combat. It's its own. It's not genre, but it's its own type of game. It kind of carved out its own. Yeah, it carved out its own thing, and I had forgotten because I hadn't played Gears in a long time. And just like getting back to those units and seeing how they're doing things, it made me kind of miss like going back to Gears. And I'm like, oh, well, Gears 5's coming out. And yeah, I'll definitely get that because, it's free. It's not free. It's part of Game Pass. And you know what? I never finished the campaign on Gears 4. So maybe I will try to get that done in the next 2 weeks before Gears 5 comes out. So I actually played a little bit today. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, Michelle and I only went through it once, which is weird because usually that's a few times you would do that on different difficulties. You have your blind run and then you have a collectibles run. And so, yeah, I think we want to try to do that one more time before 5 drops.
Yeah.
There's no time for anything.
I definitely want to play Gears now. Like, it's always been that game. Like, I really like the aesthetics around Gears. I like everything about it. It's like it looks really cool and
big beefy men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All the guns and whatnot. And like even the I forget what they call it, like the quick reloads.
Active reload.
Active reload, that's what it is. Like that's really unique to Gears. I really like the Gears game, but I think I was just telling you, Elle and Prue and Michelle the other night, I've probably played up to the Berserker in Gears 1 3 times. Never went past it I have no...
Because you couldn't beat it, or you were scared of it? Or...
No, it was like, oh, that's a good stopping point. Like, I would play, it's just like, okay, I'm kind of done. I'll want to go do something else. I'll come back to this, and never have. So it's like, now I really want to play it. And also the other thing, I have somehow managed to avoid all spoilers. So, and please don't, message me. This is how it ends.
Dude does.
Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about the Gears franchise, which is also kind of makes me want to play because you're 10 years behind on a game. Someone would have spoiled it already. There's no reason to play it. I've managed to avoid all spoilers, so it's like it kind of gives me that extra little boost of I really want to get into this game now.
Have you really managed to miss them, or did you just forget them?
I mean, if I've forgotten them, then I can't tell you that I've forgotten them.
All right. Any more questions, Elle?
What's on the docket?
Okay.
I would like to say one last thing about Gears is going into Gears 5. There's a series of 5 challenges that's going to unlock content in both Gears 4 and Gears 5. So I think that with Gears Pop and Gears Tactics, there's a lot of room for synergy for them to kind of have this game open something over there and this game open something over there. But there's a couple days left on the challenges from Gears 4 to Gears 5. So if anyone's interested, go look at that.
I popped those the other day.
I did not. I think I'm locked out of 2 of them.
Oh, no.
I didn't play enough. Yeah,
I literally just loaded up the campaign and 1 popped.
Yeah.
There's another one. That's 2.
I got 1 to pop.
You just did it now?
Yeah.
See, because Corey and Elle, I think you guys did a lot more of the campaign, whereas I was doing the horde mode.
You have to beat the campaign. What is it, level 10 in multiplayer? And what's the other one, Corey?
I don't know. I actually got an achievement, not a challenge. That's pretty fun.
Well, yeah, it's a 0-point achievement.
No, this was a 10-pointer.
Even better.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess downloading 117 gigs wasn't for nothing.
So I just thought of a great idea for Gears 5. And
unlocking 50 achievements.
Microsoft hasn't done this. They can have this one for free. You should be able to import your character from Gears Pop into Gears 5 so you could run around as your Funko dude while playing. That would be fantastic
not free. I want 10 large gold chests. You can have it for 10 large gold.
I agree. It was my idea, so I want 15.
All right. Let's end on one wish list item for the game.
Free dailies.
Do you have any?
I want dailies. I want that daily chest.
And everyone go at the same time so we can't tell what we're saying.
Yeah.
Gears 5 or Pop?
Pop.
Pop.
Pop, of
5.
course.
Okay. Koosh?
Okay. Yeah, I would like there to be something better with the crew. So like, being able to challenge other crews or being able to challenge someone within the crew. I'd like to see them build that up.
Yeah. Since I asked the question, I'm going to cheat. I want to see regular title updates like Gears 4 got with achievements, and I want a better way to acquire Horde tokens.
Yes.
I agree. So, let's move on, because that was a lot of Gears pop and talk. Wow.
That was
see, this is how
Once
much
you
you love
pop,
that
you
game.
can't stop.
That's what they say.
I want
So-
big head mode. Oh, wait.
So, Corey,
Yep.
you have spent lots of money on Gears Pop. Is there
I
anything
did.
left for the sales this week?
There is for me. I have made it apparent in the Discord, but I finally finished Stranger Things Season 3 last week, actually. And wouldn't you know, Kismet, Stranger Things 3, the game, is on sale this week for 50% off, making it $10. And you know what? Joke's on them. I would have bought it at $15. So
Well, then.
I scored
Why
pretty
not
well
11?
this week. I get that reference.
Good. I am be sad if you didn't.
But yes, Stranger Things 3. Been there, bought that, got the t-shirt. Can't wait to play it.
Oh, you haven't played it yet? I was going to ask questions.
I
maybe
just
you
bought
know
it
the answer.
yesterday.
What type of game is it supposed to be?
I don't know. I don't know if it's turn-based. I think it's
screenshots.
RPG-ish, but I'm not sure.
I thought it was adventure.
It's just Stranger Things, and I have to have it.
It looked a little bit like an NES game.
It does, yeah.
Who cares?
That's Nintendo Entertainment System. Ken.
Ask me again next week.
I will add that to the docket. To ask you.
Add it to the doc.
Nate, you got any tabs open?
I do. I'm gonna just shoot in the dark here because I have not really looked at it too much. But Captain Cat, I think Captain Cat speaks to our audience here. It's a $5 game, down from $7. It's 1,000 gamer score with 1,303 TA, and it's a 2 to 3 hour completion. So, and it's a puzzle genre. So there may be a new quick game for people to enjoy. Speaking of quick games, Hungry Shark World is not a quick game. It is $5 down from $10. It is 1,000 gamer score, and it is 5,545 TA because it's not a short game. This game, you know me, I like my pick up and play, get a little bit of gameplay, make a little bit of progress, and this one is definitely that.
I just need
fun.
to buy this game. Every time this goes on sale, I look at it, I'm like, I need this. It looks fun.
There's just something about being a zombie shark and diving onto the beach and just like eating beachgoers while you're just, bouncing across the sand. That's just fun. And that's what you get for $5.
Did you ever play the Jaws game on the PS2?
No, I don't think so.
Because it reminds me like that, but better.
Well, I recommend this game, especially if you like dumb little, I'll play it, 5 minutes every day and eventually catch that fish type gameplay. And the last thing I'd like to just point out is the Future War and World 2 Hunting Boss bundle. I've played World 2 Hunting Boss. I have not played Future World, but that is a kind of an RTS shoot 'em up is what they're saying. But the fact that it's $5 for 2 games, that's 2,000 gamer score, seems like a good deal to me. It is $5.24 down from $7, so it's not that great of a deal. But they're two games that aren't so bad, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. That might be worth it. And then one thing that I absolutely picked up. Yeah, I'm going to get Stranger Things. Yeah, I'm right there with you. But one of the things that I picked up today, or I pre-ordered, is the Mega Man ZX collection. I just couldn't turn that. It's 6 games. It's $30, and it's Mega Man ZX. So yeah, that was done. It's not cheap, but whatever. And it's not short, but that's right up my alley.
Checks all the boxes.
Anything for you, El?
I don't think so.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was kind of struggling to come up with some ones, but definitely Hungry Shark World.
If anybody hasn't gotten our favorite game where the bees make honey yet, you should probably still not get it.
How much is it?
I saw It's 40% off,
$5.
$6. I saw a lot of people jumping on Transference. That's still 70% off. It's still $7.49. But it's
it's not going to get cheaper.
Yeah.
Less than an hour with a guide.
And then, of course, there is Uno, which is 50% off at $5.
I was wondering if you would see that.
See what?
Uno.
False Uno. Challenge.
And the 360 sales didn't seem to be announced on TA, but if you just search sales, you can actually find what they are. I think there's like a SpongeBob, and there's some other stuff up there.
And along with that, we also have the Summer Spotlight. We got some new additions. Corey, you want to run through them?
Sure, I can do that because I have the doc ready and open. So the newest additions to Summer Spotlight are Wreckfest, Creature in the Well, which is going to be on Game Pass, or
we think, yeah.
So everyone but Chip should have that one.
Truck Driver Control, which is the new one by Remedy. Journey to the Savage Planet. Now that one is a pre-order. Currently, I don't think it has a release date. It says it's like January next year, but that seems like a fake date. Mechabolt, Pato Box, Smoots Summer Games, Gift of the Parathax, Life is Strange 2, Episode 4, which if I'm a betting man, I would say that's going to be on Game Pass in a little bit. I think Episode 3 just got added.
Yes.
Path of Sin, Greed is another title I don't know nothing about. That might be an Artifacts Monday.
Yeah, I believe it is an Artifacts Monday.
Yeah. Strength of the Sword Ultimate. Again, I don't know. Gnome's Garden Lost King. Your typical 8-floor management game. And out of all of those, if you don't know anything about them and you just want quick and easy gamer score, we can recommend Gnome's Garden and Mechabolt. Mechabolt being from Radalaika.
Yeah, I just played that today. It's about 20 minutes. Gnome's Garden is typically the 5 to 10 hour, or 4 to 8, I think, is for an 8-floor game.
Fun fact, I started my first 8-floor game this past week. I only played one level.
Are you done? First and last?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it kind of sucks.
Well, if you have a classroom full of kids that'll play it for you, that helps.
I mean, yeah, that would definitely turn the tides. I wish I had I wonder if mouse and keyboard work on it. That would help a lot. Anyways, that's the newest additions. Tune in next week for the last installment of Summer Spotlight, where hopefully Torchlight 2 gets added.
Torchlight 2?
Bet.
Or Trine. The Trine collection. That one looks good too.
Now that one would sway me to go ahead and buy it now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And if you're going to get the collection, because it has 4 included. So you get 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Are they all 3 players?
I think they are multiplayer. I don't think they require multiplayer.
And they each have their own list, so that's like 4,000 gamer score.
Yeah.
Did Trine 2 in 3-player multiplayer?
Are you trying to get us to talk more about that?
I just like co-op.
And if for some reason, if you don't know, if you buy games with the Summer Spotlight, then you can get some Microsoft points. I believe it's like 4,000 points.
$4.
You get 10%. Well, 10% back up to $4.
It's something. It's better than nothing.
Yeah. It's not nothing.
Actually, it's not even 10% back because you have to spend $40 to get it.
You have to spend, yeah.
$40.
That's a funny number.
It's a lot of welcome packs.
Welcome
pack.
All right. Well,
welcome pack.
All right then. Let's get into our contest corner. Let's keep
I know
going.
where that's from.
Contest corner. Yeah, it's from our podcast.
Mr. Carter. Sorry, Kenny.
There are so many things going over my head tonight with the 3 of you. At least I got the Yogi Bear reference.
Who?
So, the first contest we're going to talk about is the P-Tarts Annual Birthday Bash, 2019 edition.
Pretty.
That will be starting this week. So, be sure to register. Where you register at?
Gamertag Nation.
At Gamertag Nation. I was getting to that.
All across the nation.
There is a link in the show notes to make it a little bit easier for you guys.
We have show notes.
Birthday.
We do have show
Again,
notes.
that's a competition based off gamer score, and first place, 8th place, and 34th place will win a prize. So you don't have to be the best to win some mess.
You either have to be the 8th best or the 34th best.
Hey, Corey, do you know why it's the 34th place?
Because she's turning 29 years old.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought it was because she was born on the 34th. Okay.
Yeah, the 34th.
Oh, yeah?
Exactly.
You're both right.
Yay, I'm right. Next contest is...
I'm going to share her blog on my friend feed. There we go.
Okay, so for the RTDL, we've got a couple of full combos to shout out. With the ones this week is Skeptical Mario, Jimbot Somewhere or Other, Fug, and Wildwood Mike. Good job, guys, on your full combos.
Man.
High Road V2. Was he on the first batch?
I think he was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, congrats to him, too.
Yeah.
Think you're going to get that team combo? Or are you playing Possum again?
It's up to Kingsman and Elroy and Pluto. Pluto's like 6 away right now.
Elroy's got that keyfer. He's probably going to do it.
Well,
Yeah, I have faith in my possum brethren.
Elroy's finally going back to work, so he will probably get it. He's probably going to get this Student Achievement Factory on board, so...
It's funny how that works. He's going back to work, so he'll probably get it.
Yes.
I just want to point out the...
Just throwing that out there.
Love
you, buddy.
Yeah. And we all get it. We all get it.
Next contest is the Gamertag Challenge. The month is wrapping up. Be sure to visit the Discord to find the link in order to get a list. This month's Gamertag is J Black without the at the end because you can't have phlegm as a game title. So be sure to get that in before the month ends.
Well, we should probably mention that by the time the next show comes out, we will be in September, and that Gamertag challenge for September is Freamwhole. And we may have a rule change in September. We're still kind of hammering that out.
Oh,
Yes.
Freem's not allowed to work on his own tag?
Well, he won't hear this till at least next April,
Right.
so he probably won't know that it's his. It'll be too late.
Aw.
Sorry, Freem.
Freem.
And then for G-Task this week, we have a bonus on the solo side, and this is to end the period in the top 25% of active. And just in case anyone doesn't actually know what that means, it's meaning not below the line for elimination. So this is the most important week of them all. This is the week to survive if you want that badge. I'm pretty sure most of us are literally only in this thing to get this stupid badge. So this is probably going to be a very high scoring week, especially with more people then going for the bonus, which is then going to raise this a bit more. So have fun with this.
What's the bonus?
What?
Say it again.
Are you what? It's
I love you,
in the
Kenny.
top 25 of active.
I love you, Kenny.
You know what? Just do the podcast intro again. I really like that.
Oh, I forgot to record, guys. Sorry.
I'd quit.
Yeah, it's
So-
funny to see all these
I
people
love you,
popping their the bonuses. It's like some people didn't even they didn't try to hide it. Like it flipped over and immediately they just dumped all their bonuses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In case their internet goes down night before.
Everybody's going to be blowing their loads this week. Everyone's going to be using their bonuses to stay in. They're going to be... Everyone's going to be playing Minecraft and Human Fall Flat. Whatever other games are on Game Pass.
Whatever Waka's telling us to play.
Hint, wait for the end of the show. But with G-Task also comes some eliminations.
Uh-oh.
We had two teams, or maybe one team, I'm sure. Not sure if they were on the same one. Probably should have figured that out. P-Tart and Enigma Gamer 77 have both been eliminated from the team their teams have been eliminated, and they have also been eliminated on the individual side.
I don't They were not teammates.
Okay. I didn't think they were, so I'm glad that. And also, we have another individual elimination of Kitty Skies. Meow. I wonder how long this list is going to be next week of who wasn't able to put up.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, it may be much longer than next week.
Oh, I full well expect it to be much longer than the following
week after. Yeah.
I will probably be on that list the week after, because screw it after I get the badge. Who cares?
Well, here's the thing. We're going to peak this week, and then it's gonna go down, I think.
This is true. I don't know. If Zoo Tycoon keeps me in, then I'll stay in. I'm not going to worry about playing whatever just to stay in. I'm not going to be, important my Borderlands save to stay at 2 o'clock in the morning in order to stay in this stupid contest.
Yeah, who would do that?
Yeah. But let's get off that. Let's go into our final topic, which is Proclamation Point. Take it away, El.
Well, since I didn't get to say it last week, hold your ears. Proclamation Point.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
Matriarch has reached a new milestone for 400 completions.
Wow. Surely she used a really good game to come do that milestone with.
Oh, let us check. Click, 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 click. Bouncy Bullets. What a milestone game.
That's a game.
It is a game that exists. Chewy! On Ice has reached a milestone of 450 completed games. That was my Wookiee impersonation, not a sexual advance.
I was wondering about that.
Why not both?
I love you guys. And if you add 400 plus 450, you get 850, which is happens convenient. To be how many completions Carnage has. Way to go, guys.
Good job. For Achievements 1, we have Emperor L, also known as Good L, has reached a new milestone of 6,250 Achievements 1. Eliphalet79 at 11,500. P-Tart
commas
with 13,000.
Pretty.
Yeah, commas are amazing. Kingsman2625, no comma in that name, has 15,000 Achievements 1. Black Buff has 15,500 Achievements 1. Big L, moving on, has 17,000 Achievements 1. And Matriarch.
You want to know what game I was playing?
Sure.
Iron Snout. Go ahead.
Iron Snout.
Good game.
Matriarch
we should talk about
has 20,500 Achievements 1. Proux has 20,500 Achievements 1. Wakapeil has 21,500. And NBA Kirkland has 22,500 Achievements 1. Well done.
That's a lot of Achievements 1.
Wanda's husband.
For the Streakers, we have Elroy OMJ, 750 days. Chin Doctor would be proud 75 times. CarpeAdam79 has a 25-day achievement win streak, which is a personal best. So,
good job.
GG. For Gamerscore, we have CarpeAdam again, hitting that 125,000 Gamerscore milestone right on Foof's tail. Not on Foof's tail is Facial Floor at 550,000 Gamerscore.
Xlax the Jester has 200,000 TA score. I apparently have 800,000 TA score, which I may or may not have obtained while playing Iron Snout. Facial LaFleur, 1 million TA score. And Toadstyle Venom, a.k.a. Stan, a.k.a. not holding up his end of the bargain on random to-do list, has 1,200,000 TA score.
Foo-foo cuddly poof, that's me, is now in the top 2,000 of the Gamerscore leaderboard for Xbox One management. Koosh Moose is now in the top 5,000 of the Achievements 1 leaderboard. Eliphalet79 is now in the top 100 of the Gamerscore leaderboard for Metroidvania, and is in the top 100 of the True Achievement leaderboard for Metroidvania.
Done.
See what you've done, Nate? Everyone's gone for Metroidvanias.
I'm just glad to see people loving the Metroidvanias.
We'll see. The thing is, they've started it, and now they have gained new skills, so they got back and completed their games.
Exenua, I mean, send to LL space send something like that is now in the top 50,000 of the True Achievement leaderboard. There needs to be a comma there. Kronos is now in the top 50 of the Virginia True Achievement leaderboard. And
is this where I sing?
Yes, this is where you sing.
Get back in the cupcake.
Oh, but Kingsman's in the West Coast. He's barely a person. All right, fine. That's okay. I love him, even though he used to hang out with us and party and then bailed on us recently. But that's okay. Kingsman had a birthday on August 22nd. Freak Servo had a birthday on the 23rd. So I was going to say congratulations on being alive and not killing yourselves.
Happy birthday is what normal people say.
If we were normal, we wouldn't be playing for these imaginary points and doing podcasts about said imaginary points.
I can't argue that.
Don't wrap up yet, Kenny. I got stuff to say.
Oh boy, he's got more things to say.
I know, and you have editing to do this week, Kenny.
I always have editing.
So last week I had mentioned that 2 weeks before I had asked some community members to give me some hidden phrases to put into the podcast, and so many people got back to me trying to guess what they were, but that's okay. It was my fault for waiting 2 weeks. So I just wanted to go ahead and say what those were, if anyone was curious. So
I'm curious.
To tell the story again, real quick, Skeptical Mario had made a comment to me saying that I need to work in J Blacklog. So then I got the idea. So I messaged. So P-Tart came up with the phrase "super sparkly,"
of course,
which I used in reference to the lava lamp, I believe. Chip actually came up with "it's tool time," which I didn't say, but then I snuck it in last week. What the Fug came up with something that sounds like something I would say, which is "I'll eat my ass hat." Trying to remember. Oh yes, and the real crazy one was actually Death Dealers, who came up with two of them, and I used both of them. The first one was "peanut butter solves all problems," and the second one was "being called chicken shouldn't be an insult. Chickens are mean bitches."
Okay.
Well then,
that came from her. Yeah.
Sweet lovable Death Dealer said that.
I know, right?
Doubt.
She sure did. It was fun. Maybe I'll do something fun again in the future, or maybe I did it this episode and you don't know.
Crap. Now when I'm going through editing, if I hear anything that's just random, I'm going to go, okay, what community member told you to say this random thing?
I love you guys.
A minute. How many things are in the show notes that you write that aren't supposed to be there, but are there because someone just told you to write it or to put it in the show?
There's a lot of things in the show notes, but no one reads them, so it's okay. I curse you out in them all the time. You don't read them.
Oh, son of a gun. I didn't know that. I should
start
reading
worse
them.
Than that. I had a lot of fish puns last week, inspired by, Elroy and X, but no one read them. It's okay. It's fine.
Read the show notes.
Okay. Oh, and send Michelle duck pics. She likes that.
Okay. Well, as long as no one has anything else to add, I think that'll about do it for us this week. If you guys enjoyed the show, please like and review us on your platform of choice. And of course, as always, be sure to smash that subscribe button.
Pop it if you like.
That works too. If you want to send us a Twitter tweet, you can do so by sending us one on the Twitter at Achievements101. And also be sure to follow us on Mixer at AH101. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube. Please do subscribe to us on YouTube. If you are able to, and you would also like to help us out monetarily, you can subscribe to our Patreon. The links for that and everything else will be in the show notes. Support is not needed, but it is greatly appreciated for those who can donate. And lastly, please join the Discord. That's where all the community members are. You can get help with Gears of Pop because you want to play it if your name is not L. The Discord link is discord.io/AH101. All right, guys. Talk to you next week. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Reno.
Pop it.
Hello everyone, I am Kronos, and today we are going to be starting a new series of the Achievement Hunting 101 Game Club. We are playing OXENFREE. And for those who do not know, OXENFREE is a point-and-click style adventure game with a very strong narrative featuring teenagers on a deserted island and the things that they encounter there. To join me for the discussion that is going to be for our game club here this week, I have with me CarpeAdam79.
Hello.
And Freamwhole.
Hello, everybody.
So, guys, I know it is very, very early for any kind of overarching experiences, but I would like to know what you guys think so far.
How about I go first? So this was one of those games, and because of all of the critical praise that it had received, it was on my list of when you get a chance, this is a top priority game. You should play it and play it to completion. Make sure you're not confused by contests or pulled away to do other things. Like, you want to focus and do this. But I will admit, because this game starts with the letter O, I tend to save it for months where the gamer tag challenge requires me to get an O. And so I've always just kind of pushed it off. And so seeing this game club pop up was like, this is it. This is the perfect opportunity. And I am super excited to get into it because of all the wonderful things I've heard. Adam, where are you at?
Yeah, I know just from listening to different podcasts, like around the time that the game actually came out, it's something that I've wanted to play, but just something always gets in the way because there's always something new coming out. So I'm glad that this came up just to kind of force me to finally give it a shot.
Totally agree. I want to add that what's been also very nice, that I've maintained relatively spoiler-free. So I don't have a clue of what's coming up. The only thing I know is that at some point I'm going to see someone else's gamer tag. That's the only thing that I know is going to happen.
We asked you guys to play the first 45 minutes, maybe hours worth of the game to a specific point so that we're all at the same point and can discuss what we've done so far. And everyone in the community, who even if they were not here today, has had that opportunity as well and can hear us talking about it and relate their own experiences with that. So the game starts with our main characters, several of them, on a ferry boat heading to Edwards Island. And they're taking this ferry boat because that's the only way you can get to Edwards Island. And we meet our first couple of characters. We meet Alex, who is our main protagonist, and her friend from many, many years, Ren, and Alex's brand new stepbrother, Jonas. Ren is a very talkative, hyper, diminutive young man, and Jonas is a more laid back, certainly, than Ren. Kind of cool guy, but he feels uncomfortable. He's not real sure that he belongs here, and the fact that he is the brand new stepbrother in sort of awkward circumstances makes this whole thing play out a little bit strangely for him. The difficulty that I had when I first started playing this game was that I didn't know any of these characters, and any game where they're going to introduce a cast of characters and throw them at you very, very quickly runs into the same kind of problem. You have to introduce these characters quickly, and you have to make them hook. I had a hard time paying attention to who the characters were as they were introduced to me, so I'm curious how the introduction worked for you guys.
Well, I absolutely echo what you say, where, you come into it, and to be honest, like, you saw the three characters, I didn't even know who I was playing as, because at that point, you're not introduced to any controls or anything, and so I feel like I'm watching a cutscene, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, I can move. Oh, I'm the blue-haired with the ponytail. Oh, that makes sense now. Okay. So going into it, and you see your dialogue options, and, a lot of them are just the way kids would speak, right? Really non-committal, maybe just, some of them can be sarcastic, some can be serious, and it's like, okay, so you can kind of shape how you want to go. Great. At this point, I'm not even sure where I fall with Alex on how I'm going to approach this. I've taken a pretty consistent approach of being sarcastic and flirty, but to your point, not knowing the backstory, I thought, me and Jonas were going to be likers. I was like, oh, okay, I have to pick between these two dudes. I'm going to go with that love interest. And it's like, oh, wait, that's my stepbrother. Okay, that's weird. I don't know how that's going to play out, but, and especially, as we continue, we get off the boat, at this point, I didn't even pick up that it was her stepbrother until we got way onto the island. And I was like, oh, boy, okay, yeah, I was playing this completely wrong. Alex, you completely misunderstood the situation.
Yeah, I was kind of the same way. When it first starts off, it kind of just dumps you in to the style, and I wasn't really sure what was going on either. I was thinking cutscene as well, and there were a couple of dialogue options where I even missed entering an option because I just wasn't prepared for how quickly it was going to move and what was going on. And I'm trying to figure out, do I walk around the ship? I see I can walk around. Okay, should I go somewhere? Should I go up to the next level? I don't know. I was just really trying to figure out what was happening, and I'm trying to listen to the conversation, and Ren is like just all over the place.
He's a mile a minute.
It's like, holy cow. I mean, after that opening period, it's like, man, I guess it will make sense to go through this 3 times.
I do like the fact
I'm sure I missed a lot
that you can interrupt, because I recall as you mentioned, you're walking around the ship, you have freedom to move, and they're still chatting. And I remember like, oh, I'm just gonna go upstairs. These little white circles, those are interact points. I go see what that is. And so Ren and Jonas are having this conversation. I'm like, hey, there's a ship's wheel up here. I just completely butt into the conversation, and some of them will catch back up and restart that dialogue, but others, like if you read a sign, like it'll just cut off whatever that conversation was, considering it done, and it's like, oh wait, oh no, I like the fact that I'm not hearing repeat dialogue, but I'm also like, oh, did I miss something? Did I talk too soon? It's super fascinating how this conversation mechanic works.
Yeah, Night Studios did a really excellent job of handling both the dialogue tree and those dialogue interactions. You can't really break into the important ones, but you do have a lot of playing around opportunity to change how the dialogue flows and a lot of the feel of those conversations. It feels much more organic when you do that. It feels like something that would actually happen in a conversation. How are you experiencing this game? This game is available in a variety of formats. I played it on my Xbox, and I played it with a controller in my hand. The controller has a fairly interesting vibrate feature, so do you have vibrate on your controllers? I had my headset on when I played. I think that this game benefits from having had me play it with the headphones on. Are you listening to the sound coming out of your TV, or do you have headsets on? How immersive are your experiences right now?
I am playing in the dark of my living room with a vibrating Xbox One controller with a headset on by myself in the middle of the night. So I
think that's the best choice.
I am well engrossed in this experience.
I was the same except for the headset. I was just kind of listening to the TV audio, and I kind of feel like that made it a little bit harder to follow to a degree.
Do you have the subtitles
on? Yes.
The first choice that you really have in the game is brought to you by Jonas. He offers you a chance to speak alone for a few minutes to check things out and asks Ren to go on up ahead. You can stick with Jonas and have Ren go on up ahead, or you can stick with all 3 of them, and they stay together for the remainder of that scene. Which way did you guys choose?
I said, Ren, take a hike. I gotta go talk to Jonas, because as you recall, I thought maybe me and Jonas were gonna hook up. So, so I had a completely different connotation for why we were talking alone. But suffice it to say, I said, "Beat it, Ren. Go jabber up on that cliffside."
That's funny because I actually picked up on the relationship earlier than you did, I think, but I still made the same decision. Told him to go ahead just because there was some tension there.
Yeah.
With Jonas, so I just wanted to go ahead and take that minute to let him get off his chest whatever it was he needed to get off his chest, which it ended up being nothing. Yeah. Really.
And then you have your 3 options of, how do you want to respond? And, like, just looking at those and thinking, what the hell backstory is going on with this guy? Because you got, have you ever been to jail? Or what about your dead mom? And I was like, I don't know, what's happening here? So I went with, nice view, huh?
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that the choices were very non-committal, very teenager-esque, and yet that dialogue choice is both giving you a ton of extra information about who Jonas is and his backstory, while also being something that can be very provocative. I ended up picking the "so I heard you went to jail" one because it just seems so absurd as a question and a statement. It's like, well, if you're going to call me back and take me away from spending time with my friends, we're going to go there. We're going to have this conversation and hash it out. You want to talk to me and say I've been cool? Well, then here's what cool looks like to me.
That's funny.
Yeah, see, I did not want to go there. I left that one alone, and I kind of thinking back, I kind of wish I had.
Yeah, you got 3 playthroughs.
Yeah, just maybe to get a little bit, but I didn't want to be a jerk.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
you'll have an opportunity
assumed.
to be a jerk.
Yeah, that's what I have heard that, but yeah, I got the feeling that okay, so he was in jail. I probably don't want to mention that before I'm pretty much alone on a deserted island with him. So.
Yeah, that seems like poor timing for this conversation to come up, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, quick question. So before we got off the boat, you had that first photograph where you take that selfie. Can you decline that and not be in that picture?
You cannot. No.
Okay, so you no matter what, you are in that picture?
You are in that picture. You're in all of the pictures. The picture is a mechanic that'll come up later on as well. I didn't want to be in the picture. I didn't want to go be a part of anything that Ren was having to do. Ren, as a character, annoyed the heck out of me. That Motormouth personality, I just wanted to punch him.
So
When he says, come over here and take a picture, I did not want to have anything to do with that. So I tried very hard not to take that picture. Eventually I had to. And that's the thing. When we talk about video games are all about the player having agency.
Yeah.
And sometimes the only agency we have for these forced decisions is to not play. And I wanted to play the game, so I went and took the picture.
This is the perfect time to tell you who I envision Ren to be. And this is a little bit of a deep cut, but those Simpsons fans out there might recognize. He reminds me of Artie Ziff, the old prom date of Marge Simpson, who is that billionaire, voiced by John Lovitz, who, he just became an obsessive stalker. But he had that curly hair, and he was a tiny, diminutive guy, super insecure, but talked like a million miles a minute. So I'm just picturing this Artie Ziff character portrayed as Ren, and because of that, and the same comment you had there, Kronos, it just rubs you the wrong way, and you're like, God, just get out of here.
Yeah, if the game hasn't been telling me that he's my best friend since early childhood, I can't imagine that Alex, as I'm playing Alex, would want to have anything to do with this guy.
Yeah, I still envision him still having a toddler penis.
What?
Did you not have that dialogue?
So Ren mentions that he'd been friends with Alex for long enough that he had seen her in the bathtub.
Gotcha.
And it wasn't even weird or sexual or anything like that. And that's still what he imagined that she looked like under her clothes now. So that's the kind of character that Ren is. He's willing to say these things in public. Let's move forward and link the rest of the characters as well. We can get the entirety of the crew here, and we can hear more from Freem about the other deep cuts that are your character archetypes. We get through the town, get over the fence, and head towards the beach. But before we can get to the beach, we need to make our way through our first of many winding paths which allow conversations to unfold. And we meet the remainder of our crew. We meet Clarissa and Nona. And Nona is the girl that Ren has a crush on, and Clarissa is the girl that Nona brought because she didn't want to come and be with Ren by herself, basically. She is the wing girl.
Kronos, she is the wing bitch.
Okay, fair enough. Clarissa is a very, very divisive personality in this. She is super aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that she is so aggressive really turns people off. You'll get to know a little bit more about some of these things later on, and I think personally that it doesn't excuse a lot of her behavior, but we start to understand where she's coming from better. But right now, she is super aggressive, and we don't like her very much, and that's completely expected.
Yeah, and it was great because of that aggressiveness, it had completely, it just made up my mind on how I was going to treat her, and so I've been consistent with that in just treating her like trash and being like, I'm not going to take your garbage. And so my Alex absolutely hates Clarissa and will go out of her way to put her down.
Wow. See, I went a little bit different with it. I can't stand her for sure. I mean, she's just from the very beginning, she was just being really rude and nasty, but I was kind of more trying to de-escalate the situation.
Sure.
I guess you could say. So trying to avoid the conflict as much as I could, but it seemed like no matter what I did, she wanted to fight.
Yeah. So this, to me, and my archetype for her, is that this is the Rachel McAdams character from Mean Girls, the ringleader of the Mean Girls. And so the only way to get her is to put her in her place. And so that's how I approached, and that fed into my narrative here.
So what are your archetypes for the remainder? So for Nona, for Alex, and for Jonas, the three we haven't covered yet.
So, in my playthrough so far, there has not been, for me, a lot of interaction with Nona. And so, this likely could evolve, but as it stands now, she reminds me of Raven from Teen Titans. Very, very soft-spoken, quiet, reserved, intellectual, but something really interesting behind there that I'm looking forward to getting to know better. That's where I approach Nona.
I didn't really feel like I interacted with Nona much. She was very quiet. She didn't really... And I really didn't figure her out yet.
Yeah.
Really, the only chance you have to interact with Nona at this point is on the beach, which is our next scene. As we've climbed over the fence, we've gone around the winding path, we end up on the beach, and we sit and we talk, and we eventually play a game that's called Truth or Slap.
Yeah, and I felt like I messed up that whole dialogue there. I felt like there was more there than what I ended up with because of a decision I made.
Each of the paths has a fair amount of information in it.
Yeah, I got hit with the whole thing, and I was refusing to play, and I ended up not picking a dialogue option, and so then Clarissa said that I lost, basically, and so she wanted to slap me. And I was like, no, I'm not going to come over there and let you slap me. So I just ignored it pretty much the whole time until they finally moved off of it. But I was like, man, I felt like there was a lot more here that I just totally missed because of missing that option. Because I wanted to answer, but I was trying to figure out what I wanted to say, and by the time I did, it was too late. I feel like I guess I understand why it forces you to move quickly, but sometimes I wish these games would just slow down and let you analyze the situation a little bit. But I get it. If you're in the moment, you don't have time to analyze it that much either, so you kind of have to answer. But
it forces a new and more raw reaction, and I think that is a benefit from it. But
agreed.
Yeah, it moves
That's
very
true.
quick, especially when you're supposed to know more about the situation. If you are actually Alex, you have 10 or 15 years of history with this.
Yeah.
If you know Ren, then you know what he's like, and you've put up with this for long enough. You have the backstory. You know Edward's Island. You don't have to be in the situation that we are, where we're trying to process all this new information and then also making a snap decision. So it puts us at a disadvantage as gamers, but it does put us in interesting positions. And interesting choices are some of the things that make games fun. And sometimes no decision is an interesting decision as well. Because even though you had a situation where Clarissa wanted to slap you and you didn't see some of these other paths, that experience was perhaps very true to how Alex might have been in a situation like that. If you're a teenage girl and the person who has been a thorn in your side for the past 3 or 4 years is really being aggressive to you and you were not trying to bite back, then just ignoring it all makes perfect sense. Just stay out of the situation as best you can.
So I'm trying to remember because was the question to Alex? The question to Alex wasn't the first one, right? That somebody else kicked it off, and you had to interact with that. And so your question with Alex was because I went ahead and answered, and so I got like 3 more other. I had to ask somebody else a question, and I kind of kicked around a little bit. So it's funny to hear you say like, "No, I was out. I don't want to play this stupid game," because I fully engaged in it, and I'm trying to remember the order of events that happened because hearing your side of the story was like, oh boy, I don't even know how that would have worked in my playthrough.
The very first question is asked of Ren, and they want to know how he feels about Nona.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I hid his little secret. I told a fib.
You were the true friend because he asked.
Yeah,
you
I was
cool
the
about
same. Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I didn't rat him out.
I like it. So did you guys play the Marry, Screw, Kill game? Was that part of your dialogue options?
Yeah, that was one of the options, but that was the thing I refused.
Okay. Yeah, I went ahead
because
it was Ren asking, okay, Marry, Screw, Kill, you got to pick Nona, Ren, or Clarissa. And I was like, well, this is easy. I was like, I'm going to marry Nona. And she says something like, oh, she's nice and quiet, really sweet. I like her. I'll screw Ren because for me, Alex is heterosexual, and so he's going to choose the male option. And he's like, and then her comment is like, oh, it'll be you're like my best friend, so it won't even be weird. And then there's like a pause. And like that leaves, and Clarissa jumps in like, yeah, I get it, because I'm gonna go outright and kill Clarissa. And it was like, this is perfect. I love this. That's funny that didn't come up in yours.
Yeah, it came up for mine, but I refused to do it, and that was kind of part of the whole thing that happened. So I'm definitely I'm looking forward to my second playthrough because I'm going to do things much differently. I can tell already.
So then, was Clarissa going on that long exposition question to Jonas? Did that happen in both of your playthroughs then?
She's actually asking it of Alex, but yeah, it's about Jonas. It's for Jonas's sake.
That's right. Because like every time I had an opportunity to interrupt her, I'm like, is there a question? Hello, like what are you getting at? And like I would keep cutting her off every chance. Like she'd go on these little tangents and get around to it. And then it finally comes to the decision of like there's the one that says truth. And then there's like 2 other options where you can kind of dismiss the whole thing. And I went ahead and I told the truth about, and this was me learning for the first time about my own dead brother. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I see why, where this whole family situation's coming together with Jonas and Alex and their parents and things, right? We got dead mom, we got dead brother, all sorts of, trying to piece together this backstory that we're only getting little snippets of.
Moving on, we finish up the Truth or Slap, we leave the beach, and we move on to the cave mouth. And we learn, we've had an opportunity to play around with the radio earlier. You don't really have to, but this is the first time where you have to, and you really experience the radio tuning mechanic. You go to the mouth of the cave, and at various locations, you tune your radio to different frequencies, and weird stuff starts to happen.
Yeah, it was weird. Well, so I was playing with the radio, and when we first landed, and there was like 3 radio stations, and then at that, like, apparently it was a submarine propeller. It looked like some sort of gray rock with a bird on it. But like I sat there and listened to the whole historical documentary of the submarine propeller, and I was like, wow, this is really rich in backstory. Like, what the hell? And to the point where, like, I think when Ren was trying to say, hey, tune into that radio show so I can hear my band or whatever, and I was just dinking around with and he started yelling at me because I wasn't getting to his station fast enough. He's like, come on, no, it's like 89, go down to 89, and he was getting really frustrated with me, and so. When we first open this get to the cave mouth, and I'm just playing around with the radio, like there's still the weird beeping, which sounds like weather stations or something, and it's like, well, okay, nothing's really happening here, and I'm moving the dial all around, and then all of a sudden when you start hitting those things, and if you're not, because I was moving it quite a bit, and so like the light would kind of flicker and come on, like, so I never like kept it there long enough it's like I was almost trying to tune it in, like that Batman door opening mechanic, and I think it's a little easier than that, but it was interesting when they kept hitting, and it was like, oh, where's the next one, and you'd find it, and boom, the light would shoot out, that shaft of light would come through. It was really neat.
This is a really good time for me to just briefly mention that I have a particular phobia of old-style radios, and white noise is a thing that can get to me. So this is a game that is starting to be creepy a little bit, and it is just getting under my skin at this point. And for the remainder of the playthrough, it was getting worse and worse for me.
100%.
It's so delightful an experience in the sense of that thing that is absolutely harmless and yet is absolutely creeping you the heck out. This game was able to do it in a way that I was able to fully enjoy. And just as a quick aside, my wife realized that I was playing a creepy game. And when I came up to bed after she was asleep, or so I thought, so I turned and I go to brush my teeth. I finish brushing my teeth, I turn around, and she does the whole jump scare boo at me.
Oh my God.
I lost it. It was she's an amazing woman.
Hilarious.
And she loves to terrorize me.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone, we have a late arrival. I want to say hello to P-Tart TX. Thank you for joining us as well, P-Tart. You've unfortunately missed out on the beginning of our conversation, but I want to bring you back up to speed. We've been talking about our experiences playing OXENFREE, and so far we have basically gotten to the point where we're just after the game of Truth or Slap on the beach. And you were one of the ones I was really hoping to get in on this conversation because your experience on the beach playing Truth or Slap was very different from anyone else's experience on Truth or Slap. But really, to get into that, I need to know more about how you interacted with the characters from the very beginning. When you were on the boat and you meet Ren and Jonas for the first time, and then later on as you're heading down the path to the beach and you meet Nona and Clarissa, what were those experiences like for you playing this game?
At first, honestly, I was a little confused because I expected it to be like a normal point and click where it like stops, but then I was like, oh, it's very interactive, and then that's when I realized, oh, Thomas and I don't really need to like sit together and play, a guide with this. I have really enjoyed it so far. I kind of find the character Ren a little annoying because he talks incessantly, but
just a little annoying.
I mean, it's not like we know any long-winded people, Elroy, OMJ, but yeah, as far as the Truth or Slap game, I'm sure you guys have already discussed where it alludes to Clarissa pushing Alex why her parents got divorced, and I was trying to be nice to her new stepbrother, so I chose to hide the truth because it just didn't seem like something that she wanted out there.
Which is funny because I did the exact opposite.
Yeah, me too. I went ahead and said it.
I told the truth as well, but both because I wanted to know it, but also because I thought that would be more helpful to Jonas. I expected that the truth would be the kinder thing, that he had to know it eventually one way or the other.
Yeah.
The sooner he knows, the better. But I can see your point there as well. Earlier on in the game of Truth or Slap, the first question, as we mentioned, is that Ren is asked whether he likes Nona. And I know for a fact that you answered that differently than either Freem or Adam did. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that experience?
I think part of that was I had accidentally clicked the wrong button.
That counts.
That's funny. So what ended up happening? Spill the beans.
Well, I'm trying to remember because I played this a whopping 3 days ago, and this is pre my 12-hour sleep coma that I had today.
All right, I'll tell my experience then, and it's probably similar to yours, because I ended up with the same result on my first playthrough, and I know others in the community have experienced this. So what happened is that I disliked Ren so much that I was going to throw him under the bus the first chance I could. When there was a game called Truth or Slap, and I say, there's a chance I can slap Ren, get me on that. So they ask Ren, how do you feel about Nona? And he lies. And the game is, if you lie, you get to be slapped. So I have a chance to call him out on his lie. I do. And I go and claim my slap as quickly as I can. I'm right on it. So you get to slap Ren. If you slap Ren, that's your first achievement in the game.
Yes,
nice.
That is actually why I did that. Now it's coming back. Yes, as the completionist achievement hunter I am, that is why I chose to slap Ren.
Oh, it was because you knew the achievement was there and you went for it?
Yes.
You're looking ahead. That's cheating.
But yeah, getting to that as well, so Thomas and I decided to play together, and I realized it doesn't really work with this game, and following a guide doesn't really help either. So I think going forward, he and I would probably play separately and organically without the guide.
Yeah, I definitely recommend, if you haven't played the game at all yet, especially since you will have to play it 3 times, which I'll bring up a community comment about that right now, actually. Philip Wendell commented on this when he found out we were playing OXENFREE, that he said, okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I enjoyed OXENFREE. It's a very unique concept and genuinely fun, but I hated having to play it 3 times. He says also that the subsequent playthroughs, not the first one, but the subsequent playthroughs felt like they were sort of tacked on. And right now, it's not necessarily something that we were feeling. Adam, you mentioned that you're kind of looking forward to a second playthrough because so much is being thrown at you in this first playthrough that you don't think you've got it all yet. And I agree with that. Playing the second time is not really a hardship. It's going to be the third playthrough, I think, that really bothers most people because
isn't that the silent playthrough?
The magic starts to wear off a little bit.
Typically?
Yeah, potentially the silent playthrough. You can play the silent playthrough second or first, but most people probably play that last, yes. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. Let's get back to the cave mouth. And we talked about how we started to tune the radio and weird stuff starts to happen. Lights start coming out of orifices of the cave at weird angles, and I don't know any situation where tuning the radio is going to turn on a light, right? Radios are receivers, not transmitters. There are some weird things you can do with interesting bits of radio theory, but ultimately, this is not how radios are supposed to behave. Nothing on Edwards Island behaves the way it's supposed to behave when it comes to radios. The radio signals don't work on Edwards Island. The radio goes dead. Where you had the situation where Ren is playing his radio station from the high school as you're coming up to the island, and it fades out as you sort of cross this barrier. There's something about the island that it has this magnetic field. So radio and this island don't work well together, and it causes some very interesting reactions and interactions throughout the game.
I didn't notice that, but now that you say it, it's like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I didn't quite pick up on that either, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I didn't catch the that it went out on the boat either. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Kronos.
Don't worry, that's my job here. As the person who's played it several times, my job is to make sure I point out some of the things that are very interesting in this game, and there is a lot for me to point out. Peter, as you were playing this experience, tuning the radios, how did it work for you? Was it eerie? Was it spooky? Was it just, this is kind of weird?
I actually recently played Occultic 9 where I was tuning radios, so it wasn't like this huge, scary experience. But yeah, it was a little eerie once, you got to that point where it started shaking and it's like, uh-oh, what is going on here?
Yeah, because for me, as you know, I was more excited, like, oh, hey, it's a game mechanic, and I'm interacting with it, and things are happening. And the second that light shot out from the side, and Jonas jumped up on that hill and was like, hey, we should go in here. The adventurous Alex that I am was like, yep, I'm in, let's go. And I immediately jumped on and crawled through the tunnel, and that's when I started to regret the decisions I made for Alex.
My playthrough was actually fairly similar. I was immediately behind Jonas, and yet my reasoning was slightly different. I wanted to get as far away from Ren as possible, and Ren had made it clear he was staying on the beach.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just wanted to get away from Clarissa.
Even further away from Clarissa. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Jonas gets into the cave before we do, and he sort of disappears. And this is interesting because he's not really that far ahead of us, and we're chasing after him. But the cave is another windy path where we have to do some very light platforming to get across. And we see there's a chance for you to see some strange artifacts in the cave, a couple of pieces of debris or some graffiti. But these are not really super important. They're just more of that narrative richness. And eventually we meet up with Jonas, and something happens. Tell me what happened, guys.
Well, first you scared him, like your wife did to you. That was fun. But as I was walking through that cave, I was starting to, like, the tension was building there, because it was like, you know, you could start to feel that energy come up. And as I walked in, I immediately saw the armoire and the graffiti on the side. And, you know, I was keen on the graffiti, and I was like, oh, that's weird. What does this mean? What's going on here? And I wasn't really paying attention to Jonas. I'm like, what's he standing there for? And then I look, he's looking up, I'm looking up, and I see the weird-looking triangle. And I thought, what the hell is that thing? You know, it reminded me of...
It's Space Invaders.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yes, the imagery was of Space Invaders, but the concept was like watching the movie The Ring. There's that thing, they're watching it, and there's the fly in there, and like she's tapping at the screen and the fly, and then the fly comes out of the screen, and it was like, whoa, what the hell? That was in the TV, now it's out of the TV. And that's what this triangle reminded me of. Everything about this triangle is like, bad. I don't want it on this screen. And so my tension, my heart rate, everything is, you know, I'm sweating. Like, this is where it starts getting real creepy. And then you can start to interact with it, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, Adam, if you've got a triangle on the screen and you've got a radio that tunes and causes weird things to happen, what's the obvious solution?
Exactly. But when I first saw the triangle, I'm thinking to myself, you know, at first I was like, okay, is that some sort of just a marker for the game to let me know I'm supposed to do something? And then the characters started talking about it. I'm like, okay, so this is some kind of entity or something. So that's what I immediately did, is I just started to mess with the radio, and it started to do what it does, you know. And that's one of those moments where I'm like, if this was real, if I was really there, I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
When the thing starts like growing, because of, I'm gone. You know what? It's time for us to leave.
Yeah. Did you? So I was having a hard time with the tuning mechanic, and so like as I was getting it, and you know, obviously the triangle faces down, turns red, faces down, and then it starts shooting a line directly out, straight down toward Jonas, and I was like, Jonas, you're gonna get vaporized. Like, this Space Invader is going to absolutely destroy you. Why are you looking at this thing? And because I couldn't get it to work right, like it just kept growing really slowly, and I was like, I can't believe I'm just gonna watch this dude get killed. And then all of a sudden it stopped, new triangle, and I was like, wait, what the hell's happening here? And it took me a while to figure out, oh, I need to play with the radio some more and get that thing to grow into the giant triangle. But yeah, I thought Jonas was going to get killed super quick.
Never before has a triangle been so terrifying.
Right?
But no, we go
right
all the way.
Well,
the full triangle.
And you get some options too, or at least dialogue options. I mean, clearly the end result is you make that large triangle, but like there's a few times when Jonas is saying, "Hey, do you think we should be doing this?" You better believe it. We're going all the way, baby. Let's crank this radio up.
I would have never even entered the cave if it was real life. I would have stayed on the beach and probably had some beer.
I would have sent Clarissa into the cave.
Yes. Yeah, Clarissa and Ren together should have went in the cave while the rest of us sat back and drank some beer.
This is definitely more interesting than a slowly dying starfish. So she did ask for us to call for her, and we don't, because we don't like Clarissa very much. But maybe it would have been better if we had. So ultimately, we make a triangle in the sky out of little triangles, and the triangle talks to us. Who do you think the triangle is? Who or what do you think the triangle is at this point?
Well, it sounded to me like it was pulling a bunch of sound bites from like TV, like broadcasts. So some entity, something that can't communicate on its own is taking other pieces of media and is putting them together to try to communicate. But the problem was, so I didn't know about the subtitles part of it, so I'm really curious if you guys actually got to read what the hell the thing was saying, because I could only make out a couple of words, and so I'm super
I have the whole
confused.
Text right here, so I'll read it to you in just a minute, but I want to hear what you guys think it was first.
Yeah, so because I was not hearing clearly what was going on, I was super confused, but I was like, no, we gotta keep interacting with this thing. And so, like, I was approaching it like it was some type of alien or ghost or entity. And so my responses to it were of that probing and calm, like, hello, and what do you want? Who are you? You know, not trying to keep things as even keel as possible. I mean, the creep factor is real high when this random conversation starts happening.
I didn't, at that moment, I didn't have the subtitles on yet. It was something that occurred to me later on. But my thought is it's like some sort of maybe a ghost, you know, because that's the impression that I got. All the stuff that's going on that island is because of, you know, ghosts or some sort of spirits, you know. So that lady that lived on the island,
who just died.
There was a conversation about her just dying. So I'm wondering if maybe it's her.
All right, Maggie Adler, good guess. I like that one.
My original thought was it immediately went to aliens. I guess that's just kind of what I thought. But now that hearing your guys' analysis of it, I really, really like Adam's theory of the lady who just passed and it's ghosts. But yeah, my original thought was aliens, which doesn't, I feel like, make a whole lot of sense now.
I don't know. I think aliens makes a lot of sense, especially because it does look so much like a Space Invader alien ship there when you're still to make that triangle. My first thought when the voices start talking to me was that it was Mike. That's Alex's dead brother.
Oh.
Interesting.
So I was really curious to see if anybody else picked up that option. There's a lot of different options that all make sense. Aliens makes sense to me. Ghosts make sense to me. Specifically, you know, Adler or Mike or other ghosts all make sense to me. A demon, you know, some sort of demonic influence also makes sense to me. So I think this is one where it's subject to a lot of interpretation, especially where we've chosen to leave the game. As we play more, we'll get to know these characters more, and we'll start to maybe find out more about these entities. A little bit of a spoiler for you guys. How much you learn is going to depend a lot on how you choose to play the game. And that's one of the things that I really love about this game, because it rewards you for playing it in different styles. You'll get different pieces of information, and sometimes having less information is going to make for a better story. So that's why I wanted to always encourage people not to necessarily play with a guide. Play it naturally. Have fun with it, because your experience will be fantastic because of that.
The flash of a scene that happens when the conversation ends really was what shapes my thought of what it was, kind of in retrospect. Where so you see, and I think we're ready to go into that section here. It's a short little clip where the two characters, Alex and Jonas, are standing at the base, and I couldn't really tell what was happening because it happened so quickly, but it looked like we were underwater, and like this something is floating in front of us, and to me it looked like a plane crash, like a sinking plane. But I don't know what you guys thought that was, or if you thought it was anything. But so in my head, I'm thinking, okay, underwater, sinking plane, triangles. Like, are we tapped into the Bermuda Triangle here? Like, is this old World War II fighter jets? And, because I'm getting this kind of, like, old vibe, especially with the World War II submarine propeller thing. So I'm on that track of, like, ghost pirates.
Nice, fantastic.
I thought you were starting to talk about the show Lost there for a second as well.
Well, I mean that part of that pop culture feeds into this narrative, because there are some weird conspiracy type things or supernatural. I mean, it could really be anything at this point, and so I'm just trying to discern. And I'm curious what your guys' take is on that just real brief imagery after the triangle goes all kitty wampus on you.
I really don't. Sorry.
No, I do want to hear, though, you said that you had the...
So here's the script. And I'm not going to try and give it the creepy voice, because that just... No, you guys heard it already. This is just the text. Sleepy time gal. Bobtail, shave tail. hello, dear. Tell everyone hello. Sleepy time gal. Everything fine. Hope things there same. Don't know if leave is possible. Listen, bobtail, shavetail, sleepy time gal. Is leave possible? Bobtail, leave children. My mothers. We'll see them soon.
Oh, man, the hair on the back of my neck is standing up. Just hearing those words.
It's so intense. It's nonsense. It's this beautiful, beautiful nonsense, right?
Yeah, that's aliens.
No, but I mean, it's like, they're because of the fact that it's parsed from other media, like, leave. Children, it's like get the hell off my island. You don't belong here. The bobtail thing's throwing me off, though. Like, so I'm just trying to figure out what that might mean, but...
I'll give you guys a couple of clues on this one, then. Bobtail is probably a reference to Alex's haircut.
Oh, because she got the pony?
So she's got a ponytail. Shavetail is a military slang term from the period of time when the military officers around here, and this used to be a military island base, used for an officer in training.
Gotcha.
Sleepy Time Gal is a reference to a ragtime piece of music that was originally written in the 1920s.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Sleepy Time Gal in terms of the song, but this seems more nefarious than that.
Oh, yeah. This doesn't seem like this is a good actor. There's also another possibility that we haven't hit yet. It doesn't have to have been just one person. We hear voices, and it's different pieces of things. So it's not just one voice. It's obviously, like Freem was mentioning,
ghost
snippets
pirates
of radio and song. It could be multiple people talking at the same time or through the same voice or voice modulator. We just don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting, though. And just like you said, when you were just speaking the words, it was just chilling to hear, as of I had just played this last night, and I'm replaying the scene in my head, and it's like, oh, that was creepy.
So after the sequence that Freem was mentioning, where we are visibly underwater, we are recovered. We wake back up, and we are in a different place. We have been teleported, transported, otherwise moved to another part of the island. We are now at the Hardened Tower, and you get to climb up it and solve some light puzzles while figuring out that, hey, the beach party has kind of stopped, and everyone down at the beach has also wound up at other parts of the island, and they're not entirely sure how they got there either. What we played around with in the cave seems to have had ramifications across the entire island, not just to us.
That was weird.
Yeah, I was a little confused by it too, but I just kind of figured it was we opened some kind of portal, so that's when my theory changed from aliens to we maybe potentially opened another dimension, and it transported us to all over the island?
That still kind of sounds like aliens.
Yeah, and I was so enamored by the Dick Harden joke that I...
Major Dick Harden.
Major Dick Harden, you're right. He's got a tower named after him.
That's probably why I remembered it.
At this point, like, I'm, having continually reflected on the weirdness that had happened in the cave, the fact that everyone was all over the island didn't surprise me at all. Or it was just like, especially since we woke up somewhere weird. It was kind of a matter of fact thing, like, oh, that's weird too, that you're in different places, but okay, something happened. I'm really interested to find out what. And I kind of left it at that. Like, I didn't let my brain, especially since the point that we left off on, where you made a decision, it was like, all right, I don't know what's going on, but this is a decision I'm making, and I'm going to go find out, and I don't need to, I'm not going to dwell on it right now because I need more information.
So at the top of the tower, eventually you get things working, and the on the island only phones start working again, and you're able to receive incoming calls from your friends to find out that they have moved. You get phone calls from Ren and from Clarissa, and this comes to the choice that I mentioned as sort of the least spoilery thing. This is where we're going to leave things off for this week's discussion, and this was the point to play through. You have to make your choice. Do you want to go and meet up with Ren quickly to get him out of his situation as he's coming off of his very, very weird high? Or do you want to go and help Clarissa, who sounds like she's kind of strung out and in a bad spot? And we know we don't particularly like Clarissa because she's been very, very aggressive towards us. But we've also mentioned that we find Ren to be annoying at various points. So I found this to be an interesting decision for us to have to make because we're choosing between people we don't like. If we had a third choice and we could say we go save Nona first, I think everyone goes saves Nona first, right?
Probably.
Absolutely.
While I disliked Ren, I didn't despise him as much as you did, Kronos. So to me, they tried to sweeten the pot by saying that, oh, and it sounds like Clarissa is in a place that likely will help us figure out what's going on, whereas Ren is in the middle of the woods. And, so do you really want to go help that guy, or should we go and try and figure out what's going on? Because for me, I needed more enticement, because it was like, sorry, bitch, you out, and I'm gonna go help my buddy Ren, even though I don't like him. So it was less of a difficult decision for me because of the choices I had made toward Clarissa. And so ultimately, I opted to go to the woods route, or the Ren route.
Same thing for me. I went to Ren for a couple reasons. One, I just didn't care to go talk to Clarissa. But two, I figured it'd be better just to get him, and then we would all be together when we got to the place that could help us figure out what was going on, versus him being stuck out in the woods by himself while we're figuring it out. So it kept me away from the person I didn't like, but I thought it made the most sense too, logistically.
Yeah, I made a different decision than you guys. I actually wanted to go save Ren, but me being incredibly tired, I accidentally selected to go get Clarissa.
That's awesome.
Whoops.
I made the other choice as well. I went to save Clarissa, or chose to go save Clarissa, because I was so displeased with Ren. I was like, yeah, I'll take the angry, aggressive woman, especially because she's in a place where it might help out. And besides, maybe this is a way where I can find a path to repair that relationship somehow. That's a relationship that I would hope to repair, but maybe if there's any chance, this is one of the things I can do to do something about it. So I chose to go after Clarissa myself. Ultimately, you end up doing most of the same things in both playthroughs. Whether you go after Ren or Clarissa, you're going to end up in much the same place, which is a good time for us now to talk about where we should get to for next week. If you're playing along with us, please continue to do so. We would love to hear from you guys as well in the chat and Discord.
It is discord.io/AH101, and that's a 0, not an actual letter O. It's the 0.
Come join us. We have a channel open for the game club OXENFREE. We'd love to hear from everyone about their experiences in the first chunk of the game and what you're thinking about it. If you have any great pet theories about why the voices are talking to us or what they're trying to do to us, we'd love to hear it. And then join us as we play, and then we'll record next week. We're going to get back to the point where everyone's joined back up. We're going to meet all our characters, and we're going to bring them back together. Well, anyone who's still alive, at least. We'll put it that way. And
oh boy!
Oh, spoiler!
We'll meet up at the boathouse for our next session. And I want to thank you guys, Freem, Adam, and Petart, for joining us today to get your thoughts on this. I really appreciate it, because when we have a game like this, having different experiences and being able to explore those experiences, I think really adds a lot to the experience for everyone else. Agreed. So again, thank you guys very much for joining me tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, even though I was late.
It was fun.
Very good excuse. We understand completely. All right. Thanks, everyone. We will see you next time.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a very sequential segment with everybody's favorite educators, X the Hero and Elroy OMJ. Love that guy.
Take a second and think to yourself about the person that you hate the most in the whole world. Maybe it's your boss, a coworker, a neighbor, a mooching relative, some overexposed athlete or celebrity, whoever it is. It doesn't matter. Now think about all the horrible things that you would love to happen to that person. If you're like me, though, that does not include them dying. Death is too easy. These people need to suffer for whatever it is they've done, and you can just sit back and relax while it happens. Also, fun fact, educational portion right off the bat. Did you know that German has a word for this exact scenario? Ooh. Schadenfreude. It literally translates to harm joy or malicious joy, but as a word, it means taking pleasure in the misery of others. So, anyway, now that you've thought of the person that you hate most in the world, VSS would like to give you some suggestions on how to make them suffer with our top 5 achievements that you would love to have happen to your enemies. So yeah, Schadenfreude, taking pleasure in the misery of others. But first, some people that are not enemies. First, I said first twice. Cool. First, joining us from an island that's home to approximately 9 million people, 12 million cars, and 15 trees. She has more gamer score in music games than all of them except for one. She is Matriarch.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so great to be here.
You sound a little different than the last time we spoke, Em.
Sorry. Yeah, this is Elroy. I don't know if you could tell through the my cleverly disguised voice there, but no, yeah, M's not with us. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, as you guys have heard, also joining me today is a man who comes from a state with approximately 7 million people, 10,000 teeth, 100,000 goats, and 1 family tree, and he has completed more games, owned DLC only, than all but 7 of them. He is Elroy OMJ.
Really? I'm like number 8 in completions?
Yeah.
No, kid.
Owned DLC only.
Secret. No.
Secret.
Oh, man. Well, it's great to be back. Thanks for that. Just exuberant intro. That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I fooled y'all all with my my impersonation, but
I had a feeling something was up. I wasn't sure though. I was like, it could be her.
Yeah,
yeah. That was intense.
Unfortunately, she had a last minute scheduling change, so yeah, she won't be with us today. But I do have some shout outs I want to give real quick before we get rolling with this madness. Yeah. So I hereby shout out to Blind Rage, Bomber37, and Dark2K10, who has recently joined us in the Discord. Now, it took me 5 years. 5 years. But I finally got it. I did it. I got Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha completed. And that got me the completion for Dead Rising 3. So that might have moved me up into that number 8 spot. But let me tell you, that game is probably, it's the whole reason I bought an Xbox One. This is back in the days before I even really did Chivo hunting. I had like 30,000 gamer score back in these days. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spring that on you. Yeah. And so I was really wanting to finish this game back in the day. I was completionist Elroy back then, and so I tried to finish this game, and I kind of stumbled upon true achievements at that point, and I figured out how to get into the Dead Rising 3 game, and so like I don't know, where you like say boosting sessions or something, and I got in with a group on it, right? And so I get online, we figured it out, we get in there, and there's 4 of us, and the achievements for beating the game, the Super Ultra Dead Rising with 100 adjectives, with 4 players, and that's the one I was missing. And so we go through it, and the 3 of them we go through it 4 times, and so after the 3rd time, let me tell you something. They all left! And I was left holding the bag, and that was my introduction to boosting. So maybe that explains a lot about me, in the sense that I got royally screwed on this. So I can't remember his exact name. It's something Vulture in it. He's on my friends list just so I would never forget him. And I'm Vulture something. But yeah. Anyway, so Dark2K10 organized it, and I finally got it done, and that was my win for the month, in that I finished Dead Rising 3. So Blind Rage got it. Bomber37, he finished it. And yeah, it was pretty cool. So I feel really good about that one.
Okay.
There you go.
I feel like that is a cool story, but like a super stark contrast to the topic of this week, which is things that we want to happen to our enemies, and not shout outs to some cool people.
Well, I'll tell you who's not cool. That Vulture guy. I'm going to find his tag.
Screw him.
I got you. Yeah, Vulture.
So,
he is a Vulture.
When you were writing, were you thinking about that Vulture guy? Like, did you have somebody in mind, or were you just being general?
Oh, just King Jeff.
King Jeff.
yeah. I think I kind of covered my feelings about King Jeff last week or maybe it's the last 2 weeks that I've recorded.
I feel like King Jeff has taken over Barbie and her sister's puppy rescue in number of Elroy mentions.
Yeah, and Iron Snout. I think Iron Snout's up there too. But
Iron Snout.
Yeah, I saw it. Big L was playing some Iron Snout. I hope you like the Snout, L. Yes, gotta love the Snout. Okay, so yeah, should we start?
Yeah. Do you want to start us off with things that you would love to have happen to your enemies?
Yes, I would.
All right.
Honorable mention. All right, so the first one I chose was from Batman Arkham Knight. That's Knight with a K. And the Chivo that I chose was The Cat Came Back. And you get that for breaking into Riddler's hideout and exacting your revenge. It has a 1.66 ratio, 30 gamer score, so I don't know, 52-ish TA or something like that. Now, the game explanation I have for you is, I've never played it, but I'm sure it's like the 100 other Batman games out there. You know, you like swoop in, you like beat everyone up, oh, fisticuffs, yeah. And then you go somewhere else, you swoop in, oh, I'm gonna punch you, yeah, I'm Batman, I'm punching you, woo, yeah. And then you repeat that process a few times, and then repeat it a few more times. Then you use gadgets, you got new gadgets, and then you can go new places, and then you beat the game, and then you're like, wow, that was so much fun, let me go find the 500 freaking collectibles that they put everywhere, those little question mark trophy Riddler things, and then you go through it, and then by that time you're just Batman. But that I think that's what the game's about. I assume it is. That's what all the other ones are.
Yeah, I haven't played any of them, actually.
Oh, there you go.
I assume that was pretty spot on, I'm sure.
Yeah, ooh, I'm gonna get you. I'm the Batman.
You really sold it to me with fisticuffs.
Yeah, fisticuffs. Pew, pew. All
Blaster.
Right. Indeed. Oh, man. Blaster, man, he'd have a role in that game for sure.
Is Mr. Big actually Batman?
Oh, man. We have so many theories about who he is.
Oh.
Man, I'm going to have to do some, use the being on that one. So, let me tell you about something. I had a bad experience about 2-3 weeks ago now. Oh, man, has it almost been 3 weeks? So, we have this rug in my bedroom, all right? And Johnny 5 really likes that rug. Well, let me tell you about this rug. I got this rug for $25.
A steal.
It was like a 6-foot rug from Lowe's, and so it was hanging up, and it was the floor model, but nothing wrong with it, just hanging up at Lowe's, And so I got the guy, and so I kind of made him laugh a little bit. I told him he was the rug guy. We had a moment. We shared a moment about him being the rug guy, and then he took it to the back and kind of wound it up. I offered to help the whole way, just really being a guy, good guy here, because I think it was supposed to be $89. My wife, she has a rug problem, but I don't want to tell you, not drug, but a rug problem. And so
glad you clarified.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of it. We're not meth heads down here. No, we do have a shed full of rugs, not meth, but rugs everywhere in that shed. And but anyway, she needed another one. She had to get the fix, and so wound this rug up, and he wrote on there $25. And I was like, my man, you are the rug man. And he's like, he kind of gave me a nod, like, I got you, bro. And so anyway, so this rug was $25. So we're pretty proud of this rug. We put it in our bedroom and on the hardwood floors that we just put in. It's made out of wool. We don't have any other wool rugs. And so apparently the cats really like wool rugs. And so because they can get their claws in them better than all the other ones, whatever.
Of course.
So we looked at the rug the other day, and it's got all these freaking snags all over it. Like, there's snags all over this thing. It's just like, it's growing. It's like the rug is growing, and it's because of the freaking cats. They come in the morning, they scratch it all up, and then we don't let them in the room at night. We've been there, done that. Oof, that's how you get into a sleep. And so they come in every morning, and I don't know, throughout the day when we're not in there, and they just tear that rug up. So fast forward to a couple weeks ago, and I opened the door. This is the first day of in-service. So I know you got your big day tomorrow, right? Yeah. And so this was the week before the students get back. So you have to set up your room and things like that, right? And so it takes some work to get your room set up. And so that morning, I let the cats in, and they come in, and they, do their normal thing, and they kind of, prance around for a little bit. And so I'm getting dressed and everything, and then I turn around and I see Johnny 5 on that freaking rug, and he's going to town on it, right? And so I'm like, and so I kind of ran over there. I said, I'm trying to discourage this behavior. So I kind of ran over there to grab him, and I kind of lunged for him. And when I did, I was like, uh-oh. And so I guess I didn't engage the core properly. I'm not sure what exactly happened. Maybe from the workout the day before. I don't know. But my back just went sideways. And I was like, oh no. And so I just kind of laid on the floor for a minute. And let me tell you, back pain, that is the worst. And so you like never really realize how much you use your back until you get some lower back pain. Oh my God. And it takes forever to get better. Like I said, this was like tomorrow we start our third week with the kids, and this was the week before that. So I'm still dealing with this. And so it just takes forever. And so why did I choose this? Because I would only inflict back pain on my worst enemies, because it is the worst. I mean, it's just the worst. King Jeff, I'm coming. But what does this have to do with Batman?
No, that was good. I was wondering where the heck you were going with that. And I'm like, all right, that was it. You tied it all back.
Yes, back. I get you. Yep. So, great question. So, the achievement in the way I read it is the cat came back. And so, the cat came back because I yelled, you're back. And so that was the name of the achievement. It was a little more custom made. Now, sure, I could have probably gone with more appropriately named achievements that have to do with this. More in particularly, there's this little jewel of a game called Blue Dragon that has 2 Xpovos, one called Back Attack, one called 100 Back Attacks. So I know that's even worse. But I didn't want to hear you, X, talk about JRPGs anymore, because obviously I just kind of zone out. And I saw that you had finished that game, or almost finished that game. And so I was like, oh man, I'm going to bring it up, and he'll be like, oh, Blue Dragon. Oh, the dragon is blue. And so I don't know.
Is that how I sound?
Yeah, it's pretty spot on.
No.
I'm just the master of impressions today. I got an X, I got a M. I don't know. And so, thus Batman. So the Riddler, he's I guess he can get in on this. I wouldn't wish it looking for all his freaking collectibles on anyone, that's for sure. But Batman, he runs around, he beats up people, they get back pain. See, it all ties together. Man, he pummels them, right? He just comes in and beats them into submission. And I know Batman doesn't kill people, or he's not supposed to, but he does kill some people in the game. So I'm kind of wondering about the double standard there. You cut ropes on some people and they fall to their death. But yet he swoops in. He won't put snap any necks. He just does everything else. They showed the spine of these people. As you're punching the crap out of them, and it looks pretty bad. But anyway, I don't know what the more humane thing is, whether they live a life in the hospital or just being dead. But whatever the case, the cat came back is my first pick, and Johnny 5 is a jerk, and the whole experience has convinced me that I need to get rid of my spine, because it's a holding me back.
That was pretty good, actually.
So there you go, back pain. Yeah. It's awful.
I gotta admit, I'm a little disappointed.
Oh.
Because actually, that's funny that you just said because you referred to your cat coming in and scratching, and then you bent over and you were like, But if you flash back to episode 9, I believe it was, early back, we did.
I didn't shart.
We did some top achievement plagues, and one of my choices was the plague, which is when you sneeze and have diarrhea at the same time.
You are correct. I didn't shart. There was no shart. Yeah, I didn't have to clean the rug afterwards.
I just got worried when you said you bent over to stop the cat, and then I'm like, oh man.
You're right. I see where you went with that. Yeah,
all right.
Spot on, my man.
All right. Blaster. God, we're weird. So this week's number 3 is a pretty unique achievement, actually, in my opinion. So time for a quick sidebar. I obviously, it's no secret, I love my easy gamer score and my easy achievements, but I also like really unique achievements, and I feel like I've mentioned this before. Actually, I know I've mentioned it before, but I'm pretty sure my favorite achievement in all time is Little Rocket Man from Half-Life 2 Episode 2 for carrying the gnome through 90% of the game.
Rocket Man!
Little Rocket Man! The achievement had literally no reason to exist. You had picked up a gnome very early on in the game, and then you just carried it through the rest of the game, and you'd have to put him down when you got into the fights, and then pick him back up, and things would get moved and destroyed. You'd have to find him. Then there's parts where you're supposed to hop in cars and drive, but you can't do that. You got to get the gnome. It did nothing for the game except make it incredibly more difficult for you, but it was hilarious and it was a good challenge and it was fun and unique and super memorable. So going off of that mentality, this week, number 3, comes to us from the game Deponia, and the achievement is called Droggle Jug.
Droggle Jug?
Droggle Jug. Droggle Jug.
Not meth.
Not meth. No. Yep.
Okay.
Droggle Jug. So, what the heck is a Droggle Jug, you're probably asking yourself? And the answer is that it's a vast, swirling wonderland of sparkly white pleasure, which will fill your senses with cascading fluffy pillows of excitement and comfort as you've never felt before.
Again, this isn't meth, right?
No, that was just from a candy bar wrapper. Anyway, Droggle Jug is the achievement you get for, finishing the game in Droggle Jug mode. Yeah, go figure. Okay, here's the part that you're actually, want to hear. Droggle Jug mode is where everything in the game is replaced by the word Droggle Jug. Literally everything except the map, basically. The spoken dialogue, all the characters just say Droggle Jug. The written text, it all says Droggle Jug. The items are all called Droggle Jug. The flavor text, the item descriptions, everything is Droggle Jug. Literally the only word in the whole game in Droggle Jug mode is Droggle Jug. And they replaced all the dialogue with Droggle Jug. Even the intro theme song, there's a guy with an acoustic guitar that sings to you. He just sings Droggle Jug. The cutscenes where it's super tense and you're yelling at each other, you're just yelling Droggle Jug.
Is it kind of like Thimbleweed Park where everything's a boo?
I haven't played that one, actually.
Oh, yeah. They talk to you and diddly a boo and a boo. There were a lot of boos on there. Not from the Boots and Cats?
Oh, I was thinking booze.
Oh, I was thinking Simpsons Indian guy.
Yeah. Well.
I think that's a poo, though.
Yeah.
Okay, good talk.
Apu Super... No, what the heck is his last name? No, Khan Supanusen Phone from King of the Hill.
Oh.
And he's not Indian, he's Laotian, but whatever, I forget Apu's last name. Anyway, Droggle Jug! Droggle Jug. So, to tie it back to, things that I want for my enemies, that seems like a very fitting affliction for your enemies, because everything in their life is now Droggle Jug. Just imagine the horror that one day you woke up and, you just tried, and no matter how hard you tried, the only word that you could say was Droggle Jug. So instead of hello, Mr. OMJ, how are you doing? It'd just be Droggle Jug, Droggle Jug. Yeah. And since we speak 7,000 words a day on average, I had to look that up. That's a lot of Droggle Jug.
I'll tell you what's not the word Droggle Jug, and that is Vulture VCF. That's right, Mr. Nick Fury, who's playing Apex Legends right now. Yeah, that's the guy.
All right, so we're talking about him, but I inflict the Droggle Jug curse up on him. So
don't boost with that guy.
Don't boost with him.
Yep, he's a jerk.
But just remember, as you picture him, it's not just him. that can only say Droggleljug. When anybody would speak to him, all he would hear would be them saying Droggleljug. And if he tried to read something, all the words would just say Droggleljug. And like all the labels for the items in his house, they all just say Droggleljug. Like, think about it. You never really like realize how dependent on words you are until you start looking around at things and you know what they are because of their label. But if it just said Droggleljug, what would you do?
All he'd hear would be my bicep wrapped around his ear as I'm, giving him a noogie or something.
Dunk him in the toilet?
Yep.
Oh, flashbacks to high school. Good times, good times. So, by the way, I was not the one administering that. So, just think of a few real-life examples where this would be problematic. And I'm ignoring the obvious one where you can't have, like, any meaningful communication with anybody because all you're saying is Droggleljug, and all you're hearing is Droggleljug. The first one that came to my mind is...
you could have a really good conversation with Mr. Big, though. I mean, he'd be like, Droggleljug, blaster, Droggleljug.
But he wouldn't say blaster, he would say Droggleljug.
Oh, I don't know. Mr. Big doesn't change it up like that.
No, that's the curse, though. Everything is Droggleljug.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going. Okay.
But, so the first thing that came to my mind was like food allergies. How would you know if it's safe to eat if you have certain food allergies? When you look at something and it says, this product contains nuts or dairy or whatever the heck, you look at it and now all of a sudden it just says, this product Drogglejugs, Droggleljug. Oof. Yeah, right? What? You might die.
Yeah.
Because you ate that candy bar that had trace amounts of peanuts in it.
Or you might have an uh-oh moment.
That too. That would also be very unfortunate. But you wouldn't exclaim, uh-oh. You'd exclaim, drog. Yeah, I think you're starting to get it now.
Yeah, I'm catching on. I was just thinking of Vulture, and I'm sorry. That guy.
Screw that guy.
Yeah.
So the next one that came to my mind would be like navigating any kind of menu, like not in a video game or anything, but any kind of menu, like at the ATM or at the grocery store, just any system with like multiple options to select, like press 1 to continue, press 2 to cancel, or 3 to return to the previous menu. It'd just be like Droggleljug, Droggleljug. You'd just be caught in this never-ending loop of Droggleljug until you somehow end up charging $10,000 worth of Droggleljug to your credit card.
Yeah.
And that would just be awful. But I feel like it would be super satisfying to watch your enemies suffer through. Plus, it would only be on them. Like, their life would be Droggleljug. So in theory, you could just walk right up to their face, and you could say anything that you wanted to. Like, screw you, Vulture, you're a terrible person. But all they would hear is, Droggleljug, Droggleljug. So yeah, that's this week's number 3. I want my enemies to suffer the curse of Droggleljug.
That's pretty good. I like it.
Droggleljug.
I don't know. It's worse than back pain, though. Ooh, man. That might be, though.
But it wouldn't be called back pain. It would be called Droggleljug.
I see. All right. Number 2.
And not the uh-oh kind of number 2.
Yeah, not on the rug.
Just regular number 2.
All right. So let me tell you something else. Like many things, it's those little things that matter. So little things become big things. Sure, I could have included on my list things like being impaled on spikes 50 times. That would, be something that would qualify as a good achievement on this list. But there are things that can hurt more. Common courtesies it's considered politeness that people can be usually expected to show. It's the little things, like making eye contact when talking to someone. It can be holding the door for someone, that's like right behind you, or maybe you're in a busy restaurant and you like ask before grabbing a chair, even though no one's sitting in the chair. It's just always polite to ask. Maybe it's cleaning up after yourself in a shared restroom. Oh my gosh, let me tell you something. I got a guy at work. I share a restroom with this one dude. And man, this guy.
Does he have a lot of uh-ohs?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, man. So, and the thing that makes me mad is like, there's only 2 of us, right? And so I know the cleaning guy. And, I'm friends with the cleaning guy. And he might think that's me doing that in there because there's only 2 of us. And so in his mind, well, there's, Mr. Kelly, it could be him. There's only 2 of them that use this thing. It's not me, though. I mean, this guy needs to take a long look at his diet. That's what I'm saying. But little things. Just, if things get a little skid marky-ish, just kind of pick up after yourself a little bit. Little things. Now, treasure these little things because someday you may look back on these little things and realize that they were big things. And that brings me to my number 2 pick, I guess. Oh, I guess it's my number 1.
It is your number 1.
I'm confused. Number 2. Number 1. I don't know. But anyway, it's courtesy of Gwent, the Witcher card game. I'm sure everyone had that in their pool as my number 1.
Totally. We all know how much you play that game and how much you love that game.
Yeah. And so the achievement is thanks, but no thanks. Win a regular battle without drawing any cards. So, talking about punishing enemies, look no further. Just have them play this game. Right? I mean, come on. I am proud to say that only one person on my friends list has actually played this. And I will never reveal who that one person is.
It's pretty easy to find out, guys, if you really want to know.
Hey, I'm doing this as a common courtesy to Sprinky Dink. It's common courtesies. So, for those of you who have never played Gwent, you are winning in life. Congratulations. But in the off event you don't know what the game is about, you're not alone. In case you're curious and you want me to tell you more about it, yeah, you shouldn't. So why did I include it as my top pick? Well, much like I said earlier, it's the little things. And I can think of nothing that personifies this better than the thanks but no thanks Chivo. Again, you get this for winning a regular battle without drawing any cards. Drawing cards? What kind of cards could they be talking about? I can only assume that they are talking about thank you cards. Hence, thanks but no thanks. Little things, people. Let's look at a hypothetical. Perhaps the battle that you won was getting people to send you a bunch of stuff, maybe in June. You win. You get packages from a lot of people that you haven't even met in person, perhaps because a certain someone urged you to divulge your registry on a podcast. It's possible that someone received several goods from the same person who got the information out there. It's not outside the realm of possibility that the same person who got the individual involved in the podcast in the first place. It's even plausible that the same individual subscribes to the band's YouTube page. Further, in this hypothetical, let's say on June 21st, a certain someone acknowledged that items had been received and asked for the address of the person who sent them to him, and even stated that a thank you card would be on the way. Thus, this individual was going to do the common courtesy, and all would be right in the world. Unfortunately, that was the only writing in the world because these thank you cards certainly never existed. Little things, people. Little things. You go out of your way to bring joy to a freshly married couple by handing them some goodies and then get the door of common courtesy slammed on the very fingers that were holding such an amazing gift. Little things. I started thinking, was this just an isolated incident, or was this the start of something bigger? Was this the scourge of the land? Yes, millennials. I did some digging, and on the Bing, I found out that millennials see no value in sending thank you cards. Granted, the source was AARP, so I am full of inner turmoil right now because I'm identifying with an article that is authored by the AARP. However, the survey in it was actually done by 60 Minutes and Vanity Fair. Again, not liking my allies here, but in any case, they found that only 23% of millennials considered thank you cards important. So, millennials, Uncle Elroy is here to help you. Let me tell you how things are.
Can I just pause? I know that was all hypothetical, but I'm feeling a little attacked here.
Hang on, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna help the audience. Hold on a second here. I got you. So let me tell the fine listeners how things are. Thank you cards are important. They may not be important to you, but they are important to all those people out there that have lots of money. And when those same people with all the money spend said money on you and you don't say thank you, you look like a giant b-hole. Not an a-hole, that's King Jeff, but a massive b-hole. You see, all of us out here have been very patient with you millennials, and we have made concessions on living with you. Some previously respectable businesses now provide cry rooms, avocado toast, and promote, God help us, teamwork. The least you can do is cater to our needs, dear millennials. And damn it, we need to know you spent a little more than 10 seconds in showing appreciation by your crappy text that says thanks. Sometimes even thanks spelled with a frickin' X. You don't even have time to text a K and an S. Makes me feel good about the 20 minutes to an hour I spent picking something out that might be meaningful for you and getting it to your doorstop or your gift table or whatever. Little things, common courtesies. Pick up a damn pen, preferably a click pen, pull your head out of your own beehole, and write thank you notes. Yes, it's inconvenient. Yes, it's not fun. That's the point. That's why it means something. So millennials, I'm not going to budge on this one. Learn some manners. You receive a gift, the clock starts. You have 3 weeks to get the card out. So thanks with an X and no thanks again with an X. X. I'm sorry, I had to say it a few times. It is my pick because truly only my enemies would be the only people I would wish daily interaction with. All these common courtesy lacking, social media attention needing, easily offended, stupid protest having, entitled beeholes upon. I am Uncle Elroy, and I approve this message.
Okay, now hold on a damn minute. We looked it up. And I don't know where you saw 3 weeks, but we saw 3 months. It is reasonable and not considered rude if you get your thank you cards out within 3 months of the wedding. The wedding was 2 months and 3 days ago. Which means we have 27 more days before it is considered rude. And, Mr. Roy, and all the other awesome people who sent us gifts, we have our stack of thank you cards on the table, and that is our plan for Labor Day weekend.
I don't know. I see 3 weeks. I read something, if you went on a long Mediterranean cruise or something like that, and you were gone out of the country for, weeks on end, which, how long was your honeymoon?
11 days.
11 days, okay. I'm just kind of doing some math in my head. Yeah, let's see. A X plus equals B whole. Yeah, see what I did there. Wow. Yeah. Love you, X.
3 months. We're still good. I have no issue.
Okay.
Other than feeling like I've been personally assaulted on the air. So, I'm gonna mix my number one up a little bit. I'll cut right to the chase. Number one comes to us from Death Squared, and the achievement is called Seriously Died, which you earned for dying 999 times. Now, I know I said at the start of the podcast, or at the start of the segment, rather, that having your enemies die would be far too easy for you want them to suffer miserably, and that is definitely still the case. I'm not backpedaling on what I said. This is different, though, because it's for dying repeatedly. That means they die, and then come back to life somehow, doesn't matter how, and then they'd have to die again, 998 more times. And since they'd be coming back, and, they're not being, reincarnated, it means they're literally coming back somehow, they'd have their memories intact, which means they'd have to remember each time they died. And that, is, the horror of dying, of course, but also the pain involved. You were talking about your back pain. That's hard to forget. Mm-hmm. Now imagine dying 999 times. It's going to be tough. So I've had some pretty serious injuries over my years, like breaking my collarbone, fracturing my eye socket, tearing my knee open, having my arm impaled by a bolt, not a screw because bolts are bigger and flatter, and being stabbed with a pencil. And I can remember the pain associated with all of them. I've never died, but I have to assume that, that's usually painful in most cases. And it would just be traumatizing because, you died.
Yeah.
So, now that that's out of the way, are there even 999 ways to die? Well, hypothetically speaking, if some stranger online congratulated you on a 600,000 gamer score milestone and then pulled you into a Discord group just as a friendly member, and then decided that you were an okay guy and wanted to get you a guest spot on the segment, and that guest spot, people liked you more than they did the actual hosts, so they brought you on full time. This same guy, if he were to hypothetically, about a year later, publicly roast you for doing something within a perfectly reasonable time frame, and you just wanted to hypothetically think of 999 ways for this guy to die, I am here to tell you that I have some ideas. So
is one of them to die from a broken heart? Is the other one from dying of starvation as you wait by the mailbox? Is that any of them?
I mean, hypothetically, I feel like this guy has more important things to do than wait by his mailbox and complain that, two busy people haven't done something within a personally totally reasonable time frame.
You did hear that was a hypothetical, right?
I'm being hypothetical too.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
There's no one in particular. But hypothetically speaking, this guy should probably do some research, and 3 months is totally reasonable. 3 weeks. God, we had so much going on. We weren't even in the continent 3 weeks after. So, hypothetically, that's just unreasonable. So, there's the obvious ways that you could hypothetically wish death upon this person. Like drowning, being caught in a fire, a car accident, getting shot, falling from a height. But that's only 5. So this hypothetical person that you work with on a podcast, hypothetically, still has 994 more times to die. Which means we have 994 more ways to truly make our enemies or co-hosts suffer. So, hypothetically, of course. So, if you'll hypothetically allow me, I've put together a series of unfortunate events that will make your enemies suffer a fate far worse than just one death. So, let's start off with some exsanguination, which is extreme blood loss, followed by crushing. Then a venomous snake bite, followed by electrocution, hypothermia, hyperthermia, decompression sickness, buried alive, hyperpyrexia, eaten alive by hungry wolfies, sucked into a wood chipper, anaphylactic shock, a pulmonary embolism, chlorine gas inhalation, alcohol poisoning, unfortunate javelin accident, unfortunate acid accident, ruptured stomach, radiation poisoning, and flash pulmonary edema. Now, I could keep going, but we like to keep things PG-13 here. And if anybody was counting, that was only 25 deaths, which means that this hypothetical co-host of yours still has 974 to go. And I don't know about you listeners, but that sounds horrible after only 25. And I might feel bad for this person if he didn't hypothetically publicly shame me for something that I have no reason to be hypothetically publicly shamed for, because I still have 27 days before I should feel guilty. But since they're my worst enemy, and, I hypothetically hate them with the burning passion of 1,000 splendid suns, I can't help but feel good knowing that they have to suffer horrible, horrible death 999 times. Hypothetically, of course.
You should have included diabetes.
All right, Wilford Brimley.
You check your blood sugar. You check it off. There's no reason not to. Now, you actually remind me of... I know you haven't seen it, so never mind. There's this movie called Naked Gun, and so in there, O.J. Simpson, he's a cop, and he breaks in on these criminals that are up to their criminal ways, and then he dies about 20 different ways. So he gets hurt 20 ways. He steps on a nail, and then that throws him backwards. He puts his hand on the stove, and then he runs over to the window, and the window slams down on his fingers, and then. This is after they shoot him 100 times, and then, it's pretty funny. So anyway, it made me think of that. And diabetes.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. It's funny that you talked about O.J. Simpson, because we all know he's guilty.
Oh, is he?
Totally. No, I'm sure there's like someone listening who's like, nope, he didn't do it. But no, he's totally guilty, man. So on that note, thanks for listening. Hopefully we have helped you create some good mental images of something horrible happening to somebody who deserves it. Like, hypothetically, somebody that you work with and thought was an understanding, reasonable friend. We don't really want any of these things to happen to anybody, or do we? But it certainly makes us feel better inside just thinking about them being miserable. Schadenfreude at its finest.
I can't argue with that. But, before we go, I do have a list of top 3 months that co-hosts I know don't write thank you cards in. Oh June, number 2, July, number 1, August.
Yeah, well, I have top 3 times on a digital clock. Number 3, 11:34. Number 2, 11:11. And number 1, 12:34.
Oh, I love 12:34.
Just for that, I'm sending your thank you card in 29 days.
Yeah, you should send it on the 34th of December. Thanks for listening. All right. Later. Oh, and let the countdown begin now.
Hello everyone, I'm Wakapeil, and this week is period 9 of the GTASCTT. Survive this week on the solo side and you'll get a shiny event badge. This will likely be the most competitive week for quite some time, but you never know with this contest. If it turns out to be the case and you need TA difference in a hurry, I can recommend the Z Axis Continuum. The Z Axis Continuum is a puzzle platformer where you can shift the levels in 90-degree increments. It offers plenty of challenging puzzles, and the completion will net you 1,500 game score worth 3,450 TA. A word of warning, the score might be volatile as it only has 161 attract gamers on TA. One of these gamers, Dwaganite, who you might or might not have heard of if you frequent TrueAchievements.com, designed 4 additional levels for a title update. These 4 levels alone can in theory be beaten in 10 minutes for 500 gamer score worth 1000 TA, and they are available from the start of the game. A more realistic estimate is probably around 30 minutes to beat them, including playing through the 6 tutorial levels to figure out what you're doing. Dwaganite's levels are fun and relatively easy, especially compared to some of the main game's 30 levels. When I began playing it, I flew through the levels with little resistance, apart from the death door mechanic, which isn't explained very well. It didn't take me very long to finish the first 20 levels. After that, the game became much more difficult, and I could not find many guides for the game, leaving me to figure out the levels I struggled with myself. With a decent guide, I'm sure many could complete the Z Axis Continuum in 2 to 3 hours. I think it took me around 4, but the most common completion estimate on TA is 8 to 10 hours. While knowing the solution to the puzzles certainly help, most of the achievements are for completing a part-time on every level starting from level 7. The part-times are usually around 1 to 2 minutes, and the times are fairly generous after a patch made them easier. There is a level select, making it easy to jump around in case you decide to skip a part-time while playing through the game. A critical piece of information that is easy to miss is that you can toggle a display of your current time on a level and your target time by pressing right on the D-pad. The timer doesn't reset if you die, which I considered a design oversight until I realized that you have to die in some levels in order to finish them. You can easily reset the timer and the level by pressing the Y button, and thanks to the low fidelity graphics and audio, the load times are more or less non-existent. However, the timer keeps going if you pause the game, which certainly is not excusable. This means you can't follow step-by-step instructions for some of the trickier levels if you need to without the timer still going up. I found the Z Axis Continuum a fun experience, but it is slightly glitchy and some of the levels are real mind-benders. Only a few levels require decent platforming skills, but the hardest part is keeping track of all the movable critical objects in the level as they move around when you spin the level. The first thing you should do when starting a level is zoom out. The levels often start way too zoomed in, and your character or characters making it difficult to see what you want to accomplish. If you're up for a challenge, I recommend the entire game and its 1500 gamer score and 3450 TA. But if you are in a hurry, I recommend playing through the first 6 tutorial levels and then go straight into the title update, as you will likely earn its 500 gamer score and 1000 TA in less than 30 minutes. Have a nice day, everyone.
I had done it like 3 times before to test it.
Ow.
Wow.
That was
all right.
loud.
Y'all looks pretty on my audio.
It was probably like L's a woo.
Go ahead.
All right, let's do the countdown again. So, 5.
Just act natural.
4.
3.
2.
Yes, everyone act natural. Let's try to do this again. I like that intro, so. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.